Hey everyone, I'm Tassenix, and welcome to Plotting and Scheming, the Grand Arena focused podcast centered around the top 100 of Kyber 1 in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I am joined by the full regular cast. It is the day after Christmas. Let's go ahead and say hi to the team. Hi, Dagger. How you doing? How was the Christmas holiday?
We got some snow on Christmas Eve, so we got a white Christmas, and then it rained today, and somehow we still have ice here.
Good.
So I think we can all agree, fuck ice.
Actually, I have a whole set of blue trees outside. Like the branches are bare. We had rain. That rain has frozen and has blown up as very fine looking ice, covering every inch of every bare branch. So it's pretty crazy to look at. But yeah. All right, TJ, how about you? How you doing? How was the holiday?
Good, man. Sore and old is what I feel it.
Hmm?
And I don't know about this ice thing except for my drink because right now it's a brisk 80 degrees outside. So it's tough here in the Arizona weather. Other than that, it's good.
Feel
Good.
it?
Just doing a lot of building.
Yeah. All right, Sacha Aisha, how about you? How was your holiday?
Fantastic. We had a big family gathering, total of 22 people over, so that was chaotic but
Jeez.
fun. And we've been live in the Bay Area where we've got very thin skin when it comes to weather. So everybody was complaining about the fact we got like a half an inch of rain, and it wasn't perfectly sunny. So otherwise, it's fantastic. So doing well, Tess.
Last but never least, Fatal, how about you? How are you doing? How was the holiday?
It was good, man. Good to see family. Good to reconnect, recharge a bit.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's nice. Now that we got New Year's to come, but I'm kind of. I don't think I really need New Year's. I'm very much just I'm like all right, some cool shit's happening in January and beyond. Well, let's get the shit moving.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, this is all. I've already been off for like a week, with vacation leave, and I've already lost track of time. If not for Swugga, and looking at what the daily challenges are and stuff, I wouldn't be able to anchor myself in the days of the week. So, in that sense, yeah, I mean, whenever the new year shows up, I guess it's going to get here because I'm not paying attention.
I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but have you started Expedition 33 yet?
That was actually on my agenda this very evening. Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. All right. I've been bugging him about that for a while. It's such a good game.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
I've heard good things. I'm curious
Yeah.
to get your guys' experience on it.
By all
I'm
accounts,
just not
it's an
spoil anything
incredible
for
game.
Tass, but it's hard to talk to people about it when Tass is around because the story's so good.
Oh, awesome.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and for my part, we had just some family over. I didn't spend half my day in the car, which is by far my least favorite way to spend Christmas. Going from family to family and spending the better part of 6 hours on the road. Yeah, so we didn't have to do any of that this year. We were done, and everybody was out before like 2:30 in the afternoon because they came over earlier. And yeah, just fantastic. Peaceful, quiet for most of yesterday. Loved it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
all right.
I think we all agree for the most part. Fatal might as well. But those of us with families, my Christmas present that my family gave me was fucking off from the house from like noon to 10 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
It was the best. I got to sit home, watch TV, put their shit together in peace.
Fair. Yeah. So, gentlemen, let's dig right into it for week one. First up, our preparations, excluding Datacrons. Let's talk about what you might have done in terms of remods, relics applied, in particular, anything that caught your eye relic 10-wise, so on and so forth. Because we'll talk about everything to do with Datacrons, and especially Set 25, in the next little subsection. I'll jump in first here. So, 2 Relic 10s that I've applied since last we've spoken was Exile Ezra, who's now at about 200,000 life total. And yeah, like 64.6% armor. We'll see. We'll see how much difference it makes. Obviously, I also get that little extra dodge and mastery. So, we'll see. We'll see what it adds up to. As far as the other Relic 10 went, that was the one I applied today, and it took me a lot of remodding for other characters to pull everything together here. But when I sat and thought about it, and I looked over my own 5 vs. 5 history, one of the only fights that really consistently threatens me is Slacker versus Pirate King. And it's because, my Slacker was 590 speed, 13,000 offense, but only 160,000 or thereabouts health. Often it was working, but when it didn't, boy, did it not work at all. So I decided to get on the bandwagon. I looked at other people here in the top bracket, and yeah, it seems that I'm probably one of the last to pick this up. So I did slap on the Relic 10, swapped out of the speed arrow, put on a health arrow, pushed some other things around. Now at 180k, at 584 speed, crit damage triangle, 12k offense, 12.1k. And hopefully I'll be that much better protected when I run that fight this season. Let's see. Other major remods, just tuning up the defense and protection on Marin in anticipation of making her Relic 10 when we go back to 3 vs. 3. I think that's on my short list for it. Malikos got a tune-up so that he's just a little less slow. 5,000 more health. And in exchange, I lost all of 9 offense, so I'm no longer 13k on the nose. I will get over it. And yeah, he's also on the short list for Relic 10, but we'll see. Drogon also picked up a little special offense. We lost 8 speed to pick up another 100 or so special offense. And yeah, he has also made the short list for Relic 10. That's pretty much it for me. Dagger, how about you? What have you been cooking on? I know that Swag has been the top of the list for you the last 48 hours or so. So yeah.
Well, interestingly, one of the things I always am amused about when it comes to Drogon is theoretically the slower you have him, the more offense Leia's going to give him when she ripped, or the less offense Leia's going to give him on his first turn, right? Because he gains equal to the TM. So you really
I thought
have
he
to
wanted to have
higher
higher turn meter. I thought it was he gets more damage based on the turn meter removed.
What I'm saying is that when you're building your Drogon, you have to decide between whether you want damage on your first turn of Drogon or whether you want damage on your second through fourth turns of Drogon. And I think that's an interesting push-pull to have. Just in a character. And I haven't put a lot of thought into it recently, but like I know you mentioned it to me the other day that you were going to remod your Drogon, and it made me think about that a little bit as well. And that thought popped into my head. So that's just an interesting thought that is a complete non sequitur. So my apologies. It was mostly just that you're taking from Peter to pay Paul on the first turn kind of thing. I don't know if it matters, just to be clear. I think I would like to do more damage on the first turn because of Ezra, especially with people who are tenning him, but I mean, say Levy. I ended up doing Bane and C as my 2 R10s during the off week. Because those are the only 2 characters where I could see squeezing extra banners out of an R10. Nothing else really caught my eye as something that was like, oh, if I R10 this, it's going to take a banner away from my opponent. Or, oh, if I R10 this, it'll help me regen my banners better. And it's like, when it comes to R10ing something, like my philosophy has basically been, can this help me win a fight I wasn't already winning? And if so, does that fight matter? Or does this allow me to get better banners in a fight than I was already planning to do?
Can you talk a little bit about your intended application for C? Like, because I get that conceptually, and then like, where do you expect to use him? Like, what's the particular matchup that this factored into for you?
I think that at least for this, specifically for this next season, I know we'll get more into this when the Datacron season, when we start talking about Datacron season. I think the R10 is going to help me solo some Mace teams and some gas teams that get set that otherwise might not be on the table with Attacker Crons. At the very worst, going forward, so pre-Attacker Cron, I had some mixed success with C versus Mace. I went to the all defense mods, and then I got shredded. So I went back to 2 health sets, 1 defense set, and that has seemed to be pretty good. And I was talking with Tass the other day about how he was on my short list, and we kind of talked about the reasons why. And I kind of came up with this mix where I'm still at like 200k health roughly, which is like 400k health at R10. And I got up to like 65-ish% armor, 66. I'd have to double check.
67.5. You got you on screen.
67.5% armor. So I got up to a pretty good armor. So I think he'll be better equipped to solo things in 5s, and he will just mash things in 3s now. Not that that's... We're not going into 3s, I'm just saying for the 5v5 applications, I don't know if he'll solo mace with the attacker cron, but he's definitely more equipped to do so now with the split between the health and the defense. Because, as Tass pointed out, the armor pen crons do ask certain questions of you. But as long as we have the Iden cron with the R10, I think I'll be okay. So that was the reason behind C. And mostly it's because I'm sick of taking in a second character and just like limping away with like 65 banners. And I know I say limping, but like it's limping when it should be 68.
Yeah, I hear you.
Just a quick aside here to Fatal. I know, Fatal, I was asking you a couple questions about a couple comparisons I was thinking about with my own C modding. And I believe I was talking to you about Relic 10 in there somewhere. And I recall you saying that you're kind of cold on C at Relic 10 for the moment. Would you expand on that real quick?
Yeah, so C, like, when I was just like, before I knew what Relic 10 gave, C was at like number 1 on the list. And then, they told us that accuracy, and I was like, well, maybe crosshairs and stuff like that could be interesting, and that does change things. And then we saw, like, how little bulk it gives attackers, how little offense it gives attackers, and then it's like, okay, so we have tenacity, crit avoid, potency, accuracy, crit chance, accuracy, I don't remember if I said, as, like, the main levers. And I was looking...
Really quick, the only thing that I really wanted was the 10th level of the Galactic Legend unique. So, I didn't really care about the other things you're listing. I cared about the extra 10%. Just to be clear.
That's just asking why I felt with it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, so for me, for the matchup, which, just to start, I don't love the idea that I don't know what exactly it would help me for if people stop posting mace, because I mean, I'm posting mace as well, but I don't feel good about it. I don't think he needs to be there. I don't think he should be there. Like, mace I still just feel like he's so close to being a cool team, but right now he just feels like he's being posted as filler, and like, the moment that goes away, I'm not exactly sure why I would care about R10Z. But yeah, then past that, it's like, okay, the man gets like 3,000 health, and he already has like 255,000 or whatever base or post boss or whatever. I was just like, man, I had already in the past been theory crafting for like, okay, well, what if it's tenacity C to try to stop the Depa healing immunity, or maybe it's crit avoidance so that you could try to contest mace, because you can't link all of the attackers. So like maybe you could expand your, it might seem redundant to do crit avoidance with link, but if you could stop everyone from critting, maybe that would suck less. And so R10 feeds into those angles slightly, but I'm still just like, I don't know. I don't hate it as an R10. I'm just like, yeah, it's not a high priority. And every time I'm like, is it C this time? I've come up with something I would rather do instead. So like, he might still be done fairly soon for me. It's just, yeah, I'm still a little bit shaky.
Yeah, okay, and that's perfectly fair. The reason why I really wanted to look into it more was because I see a lot of people doing things like Ahsoka and Leia and Lord Vader and Hondo and SOK, and I don't feel like they move the needle significantly in any matchups. But I feel like if this doesn't work out with C the way I want it to, like people stop setting the teams that I R10 him to beat, like that's cool. Me having an R10C stopped you from setting these teams. Like that's enough of an impact, taking away from more of what you're trying to do. And when I'm looking at these other things that I could R10, like Lord Vader, Hondo, Leia, Ahsoka, SOK, those kind of things, I'm just like, I don't need you. Like, you don't change matchups. And, like, that's what I'm really looking to do with my R10s. I'm not saying that you can't R10 whatever you want. I'm just saying, like, the reason for Bane and C is that they have callings where 5% relic delta is going to matter, right? Because they're trying to solo an entire team. And it may not 5% may not sound like I'm not trying to have an argument here. I'm saying that like what you're saying is correct. And while it may not be the highest impact like sexy pick, I do like this. I do like the fact that like you're going a different direction with like Marin and like what do you call it? And Wrecker to try to make teams that weren't beating things beat them, or to make something that wasn't consistent more consistent, which is also another thing you could do.
Stop defending yourself real quick so I can agree with you.
Yes, I was about to say. I asked him that as an aside. Man, you are just fighting nobody who's attacking.
I will say, in that dagger versus dagger battle,
I'm telling
I
you,
really
man.
think dagger did great.
Hey, all I'm saying is I said I did something, and your immediate response was, "Hey, Fatal, tell him why you don't like it." So you can go fuck yourself.
No. I wanted to contrast the reasons that you gave proactively for why you wanted to set it versus why another player who's also carefully considering their R10s decided against it.
Might I?
With all of your R10s, let's start with Ahsoka.
Can I agree with him real quick?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so I took another look at the screen. The one thing I will shout out is another way that I use C lately if we're talking about what happens if base doesn't get posted. Oh fuck, the banners are so bad, but the efficiency is so nice. I continue to enjoy doing C with 2 tanks against Ahsoka, whether it's Ahsoka Ezra or not. And R10 does also push up his offense a robust amount. Is 340. Like, I know he's a special attacker, so it's like you're adding 340 into a pool of like 13,000, but that's still a decent push. And like the margins for C offense actually significantly kind of matter in that matchup. Like, I have my C modded for offense a lot of the time when I'm doing that shit, so that actually is also a nice psych use case that actually might make me do them sooner.
At the risk of dogpiling and also agreeing with everybody else, like the reason I asked about Sea Dagger is because, like, much like Fatal, he went from sort of top of my list to, like, at least for me, I think incidentally, like too much of an afterthought. And then as I start digging a little deeper, I'm like, God, there seem to be practical benefits. Like you said, I was thinking for him and for Bane, these are characters where, maybe the stats are very marginal, but there's the GL unique and just the fact that you are with Relic Delta, you're lifting a unit that is effectively a squad, and I like that. I like that aspect. So it's sort of risen back up for me. So that's why I was curious.
Yeah, and I was told by Tass I wasn't allowed to shit on R10 as a function, but I do think that R10 is a little underwhelming. I know we've talked about that before. So, yeah, I Bane for the same reasons, right? But, like, clearly less pushback on Bane, I guess. Or less discussion on Bane. But, yeah.
Yeah,
I definitely
thanks for letting us hijack that about C for a bit. Did you have anything you wanted to expand on further about Bane?
Oh, yeah, I was just going to highlight the fact that it's another character that is basically a 2-man squad. So trying to just add 5% more damage to your guy while also reducing 5% more damage is going to go a lot further otherwise. And I think during this current Attacker Cron set, man, I had some awkward Bane fights. I didn't lose any of them in 3s, but I'm just saying I could see in 5, so I could lose some of them. So the R10 there was partially for this like Datacron set. Same with C, right? It's one of these things where I was going to do both of them, and this is like a good time to get them out of the way because they're trying to kill Attacker Cron teams.
Can I ask you guys a question, just in case you have experience with this? I haven't tried it, but and I think we touched on it a little bit last episode. But the use of, like, a lot of people have R10'd Darth Revan for Fleet, and when you move to 5s, he doesn't have that sort of home sweet home of Zalbar and Mission. If you were to put Revan with Bane, have you guys had the experience? The thing that just is in the back of my mind, I really like it because the extra relic level under Bane's rule of 2 gives Bane, whoever survives, presumably Bane, 15% extra crit damage and offense, I think, in potency as well, just because you've gone from R9 to R10, which is really meaningful. But Revan has that unique where when he drops below 50%, he equalizes with the other Sith.
Well,
is that like a butt clenching moment?
I think with an R10 Bane, I'm less inclined to take that risk. But I do like the idea of Revan against teams where I know that he'll just die. Right, like Queen,
Yeah.
for example, where I know he'll just die. I think there are some fights where they might take a little longer to kill him, and the equalization may be a little not in my favor. But I do like the idea of using Revan with him. I also wonder, and Fatal might have a better idea on this. I have also struggled with Malgus and 5e5 a little bit here and there to close out fights without Darth Revan's CC of like AoE fear.
Hmm. So Malgus R10. Sorry, that's what I'm hearing. No, I'm just kidding. But
I was
that is
literally
definitely a
mulling over.
possibility.
I was
I
literally
need to
mulling
that
over
health
with
is
Maybe
better.
Marauder R10 for the stupid tank ship.
Mhm.
Not Sith Assassin. I don't know. I hear it's hot.
If I ever use the ship, I'd consider it.
It was one of my earliest R9s and the greatest points of regret for a period. But cool.
It was
Super
great when it was
helpful.
starting.
Thanks.
It was great when it was starting on Marauder.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I don't feel
you're
bad
totally
about
right.
the mileage I got out of it because everyone else did it too.
So task back to you, bud.
All right, on over to you then, TJ. Your preparations here going into this week. Remods, relics applied, relic 10s, anything not Datacrom wise.
Yeah, I'm kind of keeping up in the air right now. I usually stay about 24 hours prior is when I kind of dig in and what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Relic wise though, so we got that free pack.
Yeah, we did.
I'm being real kind of finicky with the R10s and just doing stuff slow and steady. I'm not trying to spend money on the packs and stuff like that. Again, nothing wrong with people who do it. Just again, don't really see any of the gain. So I just did Ezra with that free pack because I still called it as one of my favorite ones. I'll still continue to praise on Ezra. So he got his R10. I don't know if I'm trying to go like a passion project of every pair. So say like SLK, and then maybe it's time for Dre or things like of that nature. But since Ezra's there and we're getting the Stranger sometime soon, I'm probably going to start kind of holding things close to the chest as we get closer to him just to be able to use them. So like full R19 type shenanigans. Other than that, I'm looking at my Jedi. I want more R9 Jedi just to tie into the coins. So maybe JKC, JKL, things like that. Because they're still right at the cusp of the R8s. So it's like, I think that's my next, I guess we'll call it passion project to try and line them in. Even my Hoda's R8 now. So I'm trying to raise the floor for when I use them, especially when we get to the 5 section.
The low-key Hoda at R9
Other
is
than
pretty
that,
slick with the coin and Delta.
that was my thought, right? We talked about it, and I had the Hoda forever at 7, so I raised my floor and brought him to 8 as well because I want to tie it in. Because obviously, when he goes to 10, that jump from the entire team's you're gonna feel that impact, and so that's what I'm trying to get to as we're going. It's basically just like a team by team investigation and seeing what I can improve.
There's also a reasonable argument for leaving him at 8 so he does less damage, so you can coin him more to heal back up more.
Yeah, that's a
But
good
then,
call. But that's what I
yeah,
say.
so
Yeah, it's like I
there's
just wanted
actually a
to make
small argument for
sure.
leaving him a little weaker.
Yeah, he's not on the top of the people I want to take tonight anyway. So it's like JKL feels like that's a good 9. JKC, that feels like that's a good 9. There's multiple places that he's going to use them. Same thing. It might be time to do like I think my JKR is still 7. So it's like those are the pieces where I'm looking at it as we're trying to break it down to see what's going to have the most impact.
Dig that. Thank you. Great, thorough answer.
Yeah.
Over to you, Sasha. How about your
Sure.
preparation? Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, no. So this so far this week, like I tend to take off weeks pretty seriously, and that I go fully off. But what I've been more focused on now is the resource accumulation and trying to plan out for like when I emerge a little before GAC lock and figure out where I'm going to start applying them. And one of the things that I'm realizing, I'm guessing you guys have all experienced the same thing, but there was like this deluge of like R9 mats that came when like Relic Delta and Relic 10 were released. And so I had this totally unsustainable pace of R8 to R9 across my roster. And the guys that didn't make the cut, all the characters that didn't make the cut, I had this like list of maybe like 10, 11 that didn't make the cut, but that I was really excited. And we were at a pace where I'm like, oh, wow, that's great. Within a month, I'll have all those done and everything. But what I've noticed is like a meaningful slowdown in accumulation of the materials, at least for me. So I'm starting to be really cognizant of that. Plus, like every R10, not to reopen our one R10 versus two R9s debate, but like every R10 you take is one less R9 you're going to take at least. And so I'm starting to just realize I've got to be really deliberate and selective in what I'm even going to add relics to. Um, I do have, I think I'll probably have like materials for a couple R10s before lock. So I'm really thinking long and hard about that. I expect one of those to be Bane. You know, C was a possibility. There are some other possibilities I'm looking at too, but it's mostly just accumulating that stuff. And then I guess what other time I put into the game was around, I had an insane amount of attacker crons going into that debacle. And so I had to flush out like 22 crons and rebuild. And so a lot of time doing that still. Like now I think I don't know if I'm going to finish state, but I have those crons built out. With a little more thinking I should do, and this is where like this is another way that I really appreciate these conversations to sort of like get the mind a little more actively thinking about like, is there any kind of special sauce prawn that's worth brewing up to just have like one specific application for in this
Well,
world
I,
of
I
infinite
definitely
rules.
have some thoughts on that, but we'll expand
Yeah,
on that more in the next section about Datacrons for sure.
you
Because
got it,
I
bud.
think that's difficult to walk back away from once we get into it, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So that's it, Tess. That's it for me.
No, I appreciate that. And on to you then, Fatal. How about you? Preparations for this week, remods, relics applied, anything not specifically Datacrons?
In terms of R10, since we last spoke,
Mhm.
remind me when did we last speak?
Yeah, that
What frame
was
of time are we in?
like 3-ish
You've
days ago,
applied two
something
since
like
then.
that. You know,
3-ish what?
3-ish
You've
days, something.
Yeah, you've
Okay,
applied. I
okay,
can
we can
tell you
talk.
All right, all right.
as
What were
your
your
guildmate,
last?
you've
What were
applied
your
too.
last? What were your last two R10s? I saw them in guild chat. They're kind of fun.
They are.
I said there's a lot of people talking at the same time. My last two I just did yesterday were Qui-Gon and Luthen. And to me, nothing too crazy there. I don't know, man. So I've actually normally I don't buy new relics, but for whatever reason I went a little bit crazy on this one just because I got my rocks off on seeing people in Discord react to like, the fuck is that guy doing? Like, yeah, bitch. I'm choosing the good ones. I'm gonna keep doing this. If you keep like,
It is pretty monstrous to have. I don't know if this is what you're locking in with, but you do have your crit chance, crit damage mods equipped at the moment, and you are just sitting over 80% special crit chance at 10-6 offense, 300 speed, full crit damage set, crit damage triangle, and 107,000 health. So is
are
this
you talking about Luthen or
representative or
Qui-Gon?
not?
Are you talking about Luthen or Qui-Gon?
I have Qui-Gon on screen right now.
That might just be TW mods.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, he'll probably still be on damage. Okay, fuck. Okay. I'm going through the last 24 hours because it turns out that the old way that I thought that damage calculation worked, and then I've been convinced it did not work. Turns
Oh.
out I was originally correct, does work. So here's the problem. 4 teams where you know that you plan to run a crit damage cron, specifically not being Qui-Gon here, because I think okay. If you are running Qui-Gon with a crit damage cron and Cam is present, I think you still run him crit damage mods. If you are not running Cam, if you intend to undersize, and you are running a high crit damage cron, because I still know, I mean, unless you need a bulk, you're probably on crit damage. It actually might be correct to do offense mods. It's the whole premise of like, So it sounds like the more crit damage you get, the better offense gets, which is what I thought it was originally, and I was convincingly led to believe otherwise, but now it seems that we're back to this. So I guess an armor pen cron would want crit damage sets, and a crit damage cron would want offense sets. So like Luthen, ironically, like 2 days ago, I did the math on Luthen. I was like, okay, Luthen transfers 100% of offense with 75% of crit damage. The crit damage still checks out, but then now with this logic applied, it's like, well, fuck, Luthen's back on the offense set. I can't keep up with this shit. Every 2 years, the general consensus for what makes the most sense just gets thrown out.
So, forgive me. It's not immediately clear. Could you highlight again the difference between your previous understanding and the new understanding?
Yeah, so the old understanding was like the more crit damage you had, the better offense became, and the more offense you had, the better crit damage became. I don't know if that's 100% entirely true here, but it sounds to be broadly correct.
Yeah, in the sense that just more of anything is better, sure, yes.
Also, that a balance of the two is generally better than min-maxing on one.
Yeah, but sure. At some point in the last 2 to 3 years, I was brought to believe through math that but crit damage still generally just tends to outweigh offense. That you're still better off just sticking with crit. Crit damage cron plus crit damage mods, didn't really think twice about it. And then yesterday there was a small debate. And it was like, well, the math actually shows that getting extra crit damage does make offense better. So I'm like, motherfucker, can we just can we? And it was that's fine.
So the new math confirmed that crit damage makes an offense set more potent, but not the inverse, whereas your previous understanding was either was good at boosting the other relevant stat.
It's not the inverse, but then at the same time, my head is scrambled eggs at the moment because it's like, okay,
sorry.
The more crit damage you get, the worse crit damage becomes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the flip side of the statement that I was told is well, but the more offense you get, crit damage is still good. But I'm like, but that just means more offense makes crit damage good. So at first I was like, oh, so it's half old ways, half new ways. But then I was like, no, this shit just sounds like the old ways. There is no you're from a certain point of view. No, bitch, it's the old ways. What? I don't know.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Faisal. My understanding is simply that offense and crit damage I mean, obviously, some kids prefer one or the other, but it really what it does is it creates different cones. So an offense has a smaller cone, and crit damage has a wider cone of damage. Is my understanding essentially because if you don't crit, you don't do damage, but if you do crit, you do damage, kind of thing. So without the guaranteed crits, offense is going to do more consistent damage.
The actual explanation is it's about how much crit damage you're adding relative to how much crit damage you already have as relative percent versus the 15% offense gain of an offense set against your existing offense scaler. So I'm sure there's actually a calculatable point of okay, 250% crit damage set is still better. 280% crit damage offense set becomes better or some shit like that. It's very in the weeds. I almost regret even talking about this, but I will be.
No, this is such a free. You, everybody here knows this is one of the most frequently asked questions around offense. Around mods in general, but certainly if you're talking about offense or crit damage mods at all with people, there's a good chance you're having exactly this conversation, which is better.
This is honestly almost the worst case scenario if you're just looking for a easy, lazy answer. Because it would mean that, ideally, you would want to know what your datacrons are and have that hashed out before you lock in, so you can be like, okay, my Luthen cron, I always like to run a crit damage bomb of 150%, so that's just easily offense favored. Alright, my QA cron is this, shitty 85% crit damage, some health and crit chance roll. Okay, what the fuck? Is the 85% crit damage making the crit damage set worse? If I'm not using Kyati Booty, I don't know. It's very fiddly. Honestly, the min-maxer me kind of loves it, but it's going to make giving people direct answers very fucking annoying.
A good default, until you have an in-depth conversation about a character, is offense set crit damage triangle as long as their crit chance is over 70.
I mean,
Unless a
I don't-
kit demands something else.
I would just always do your best to try to get to 100% crit chance if you intend to be critting.
Oh
if
yeah,
the
I was
Datacron set
thinking
allows it.
Well, but
I was trying to do
realistically,
special
for your
damage
special offense, you think that
Yeah, I was trying to
this-
include special damage dealers in that fatal. That's why I gave the number.
Oh,
Otherwise, I would just do an offensive triangle on a special damage dealer.
I mean, to be fair, this is an angle that I think I spent time thinking about. I did consider Master Qui-Gon and Luthen because I surveyed all of ours just to see if there was anything that I wasn't initially considering. And I can appreciate that for most of the characters you are attending, there's other things that I'm looking to gain from that aren't specifically the crit chance most of the time. But like in the case of Ben Solo, I really did like it. And yeah, for here, there's so few special damage dealers, and if you're really wanting to make them crit, it's hard to argue against a free 10% special crit chance, knowing how expensive an endeavor it is to stack crit chance on a special damage dealer. Mod budget.
And on some of them, it's like 14% crit chance because they get like the mastery too and all that stuff. So like I don't know what Qui-Gon's mastery is, but I thought it was crit chance. I could be wrong, but I thought he had a crit chance mastery. Master Qui-Gon.
he is accuracy, crit avoidance, and offense.
Never mind.
But yeah, Luthen was a weird one.
Yeah, I got him on screen now. This might be your guild mod, so because it's a speed defense, so probably not what you were thinking. But,
yeah, he'll basically just be on gas mods come lock.
Okay.
But yeah, I actually didn't have Luthen that high on the list after I saw the stats. But I ran into some weird shit where like I told myself, okay, I'm gonna focus on R10ing non-GL tanks for like the top squad. So I was like, Wrecker, easy. Morgan, done. And then I sorted by tanks and looked at that shit and I was like, okay, why? If you just literally just like filter by tanks in your collection, holy shit, man. Most of these tanks are irrelevant. With the exception of like, Vayne and Quiggle, but right now I think they're kind of cursed by medical, but like, yeah, most tanks are just irrelevant or fail to do their jobs meaningfully well. That I was like, I ran out of runway almost immediately. It's like, okay, Balin I'll get to eventually. Vayne, the moment that SLK stops killing his ass, I think will be an easy choice. Quiggle, if he goes on defense at any point, maybe, would use it extremely well, mathematically. But just right now, the man's killing LD.
Thoughts on Temple Guard? He was one of the ones I considered.
If I thought Mace was a good squad, Temple Guard would make some sense, but I don't think Mace is good. So, but yeah, so it was like I hit that, and I was like, man, what the fuck? It's like pretty much all of the old tanks can't do their job or aren't shit. And so we're kind of just in the middle of this wave of waiting for new tanks. Like, I'm pretty sure Maul is going to be a new tank. So then I was like, well, QA is her squad's tank. Luthen is his squad's tank, so I guess if I am sticking with the ethos, I'm perfectly happy to give Luthen the R10 for the undersized margin call. It's just like, yeah, I don't think he's as huge of a margin push as he could be. The summon inherits the crit avoid, so that's not terrible. It's like a 5,000 protection bump or whatever. But yeah, I'm hitting on all of the flashpoint units that I tend to do risky undersizes with. So yeah, I was considering doing Padawan Obi-Wan instead of Master Qui-Gon until somebody reminded me. If you take Master Qui-Gon out of the squad, Padawan Obi-Wan no longer ignores protection. So I dodged a bullet there because that was
okay. Yeah,
that was something I was teeing up.
Padawan Obi-Wan's not good. It's just definitely if you had to pick one or the other, you should choose Master Qui-Gon for that reason. Survivability.
Well, it was literally like I was just thinking, like, okay, most of my Maz fights are Pow does one swipe, done. So could we just close this fucker out with Qui-Gon not here and just Amidala AoE, POW AoE, but it's like, nope.
The greed called to you. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just looking for more places to pinch.
So-
But yeah, Polygon, useful.
Another. It's not as dumb as it sounds on its surface, but what are the chances that GBA becomes like an R10 target?
Well, I mean, before you ask us to opine, why do you think? Why do you think it's worth a consideration?
Well, he just gets used as a plug-and-play tank in a fair amount of places.
Yeah, he's talking about for inheritance.
Yeah.
So the inheritance angle, I think, isn't necessarily the worst way to go. I'm not someone who uses GBA a ton lately. Let me pull up the inheritance stats because I know that there's some caveats in this case. Yeah, so summon inheritance, it's only 50% on health, 0% on protection. I know it doesn't look like the relic set gives you that much armor, but it does actually scale well with mods. So it's a 50% armor inheritance, 0% crit avoidance.
I got that table on screen.
So
not enough value there from the actual GBA.
Yeah, I would tend to call that less appealing. For like, I'll talk about Oppo as a comparison. I can tell you right now,
the other day too. I really like Apple. I would do Apple before Lord Vader. I think
the summon inherits, I believe, 100% of crit chance. If I remember right, I'm looking. Why the fuck is it not where I'm looking?
Tass was like, I didn't want to spend.
It's 0.7. It's 0.7 of physical damage.
An hour talking about R10s, and here we are, guys. Sorry.
No.
It's the premier.
This is one of the most frequently asked questions I'm getting these days. We're giving the people exactly what they want right now, believe it or not.
Hey man, it's the shiny newest latest.
Yeah,
man. Yeah. I thought that Oppo shared crit chance with the summon. I guess it's not. I just had him on crit chance because his own crit chance is bad.
Right. Yes, his crit chance is butts.
Well, that makes me a little bit less excited for Oppo R10. I mean, you would still do it from the angle of, okay, this man's crit chance sucks ass, and let me make that easier.
I mean, if you're still running 3 survivability primaries, though, in a crit damage triangle, sure.
Yeah, it's
It also helps Lord Vader's ult.
It helps you cheapen your mod budget or push that budget towards other pursuits. So
yes.
Yeah. But I do think that Apple's the first R10 on the Lord Vader team for me. I'm not saying anybody else can't do it their own way, but I do think if I start applying an R9 to each team, Apple's going to get the first one here. Because the summon actually hits kind of hard.
That's fair. Yeah. All right. Appreciate that, Fatal. Guys, I think we've gone pretty in depth on our preparations. The one last thing I forgot to mention is, per our last discussion, wrapping up week 3, just wanted to briefly mention to you, Fatal, I have prepared myself to have kicks go ahead. 349 kicks to 347 Maz, and that's with a whole bunch of protection primaries on both of them. We'll see how that goes.
Healercron, man. I'm very interested to see over the course of the season how tempting Healercron becomes, because this is a Datacron season where we have 3 very good roll crons to choose from for very, very good reasons, and yet that locked heal immunity, what you take, you keep, is just so fucking nice for some squads that I am going to farm extra blank Datacrons, and have them sit there because I just know at the end of the day, I might be in the market for more Healercrons by the end of all of this.
And this is perfectly...
Sorry. No, sorry. I was 2-second shout out. Point 2, locked heal immunity, shuts off attacker cron taunt ignore. Just pointing that out.
Very nice observation, yes. And this is an organic transition into discussing Datacron preparations here for the season. So obviously our focus is going to be around set 25, because set 24 is pretty passe. I mean, you're going to use it for your Slacker, you're going to use it for your Pirates, and then maybe Dark Side buffs level 3 with your Seer Malicos? I don't know.
You're only going to use it with your Hondo.
I said Pirates.
But I have a question on the mod.
Huh? Said Pirates. He did say Pirates.
Well,
I will defend his honor.
Well, I'm saying that Maz is a pirate, and her team is pirates, and they won't be using it.
I mean, fair.
sure.
Fair. Yes.
So I was saying Hondo,
that is a
and
second pirate team, yes. Mhm.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, on the healer cron that you're going to be using on this Maz team, would you mix? I was thinking of mixing crit damage and armor pen, because once you get Lord Vader below 80, he can't be crit.
Yeah, I
What
mean
are you guys'
the
thoughts
armor
on
pen
that?
would make sense for Athano because he really kicks. I would so I don't have a ton of healer cons myself. This one is kind of a couple different places I could use it. You could use it with JML. I could use it with Maz in the sense that I've got a ton of protection stacked on this team. I would be curious to the degree that anybody falls over if I ran this kind of protection stack. And we've seen, I mean, I guess we've always been otherwise running the Pirate Cron prior to this, so I guess I can't say for sure that Maz doesn't actually need a lot of help doing damage against Lord Vader. Maybe she does, but that's not really been my experience so far. So I wonder if damage is actually the way to go in terms of
Well,
statting out that team.
On a Maz team, I would want like a couple of rolls into damage somewhere, just because I think there's diminishing returns on bulking her out because she wasn't gonna die anyways, right?
Hmm.
So, well, I'm sorry, at a certain point she wasn't going to die anyways. So I think it's fine to put a couple of rolls into like offense. And my question is, would armor pen be better than crit damage against that team just to get Lord Vader down faster?
I mean, I would think
I'm
certainly
personally
it's on
still
a.
just
Go ahead.
I'm personally still just on a full protection cron. That might be unnecessary. S75 does have solid armor pen. It's like 296, so might
Okay,
be
because
decent.
that was kind of my thought was, I feel like at a certain point the team's just not going to die.
It's entirely possible my ass is just still parked on full protection. It's just like, please don't hurt me.
Yeah, like Dad said, there's nothing wrong with being full prot. I was mostly just like those, especially the level 1 and 2s, where it's like 12% prot. Would that be better as 40% armor pen kind of thing?
No,
Right? If
fair
you get like,
consideration, and I'm not even arguing that my stats are better. Hell, I could probably use this one with health and crit damage instead if I was more concerned about it. But that's my point, is that for me, at least right now, and I'll be paying attention to what Fatal and others are doing in terms of, do they feel that they need to switch around their mix of level 6s? But for the time being, I only have 2 light side healer crons. So, yeah,
now
gotta,
the other
make do.
now the other question is, do you want a light side or a dark side? Because the light side, because you can't gain turn meter with the dot thing, you probably don't want TM. So the bulk level 3 is going to keep Kix and Maz alive way longer. But would
Both
you
priority
prefer?
targets.
Yeah, and I think that that's better than like speed up on basic on the defense cron or on the dark side cron. What are your guys' thoughts on?
I
Again,
agree
I
with
haven't.
that.
For the record, I've done none of my carpal tunnel yet.
Oh,
I
let
wanted
me
to have
show
this
you guys what
conversation first.
carpal tunnel looks like. You think you
Yeah.
know. Let me tell you something. Vague and distant is my memory of cartilage. Hold on, let me pull this up right here on screen. I know not what it is to have fingers anymore. 8,898 rerolls on this set. And I know what you might be thinking. Oh, Tass, you patted the shit out of that. Nah. Every last one of these was going for something specific. None of this was done with idle boredom. It was specifically, my goal was to be, and this is what it apparently takes to do that, within 0.1 within 1% of perfect for every roll on every cron. So whatever the stat was, within 1% of perfect. 1% or
I just want
less.
to. While I appreciate that, I will be letting you know I will not be doing.
Yeah, I don't recommend the experience because obviously this was a journey, somewhere around 4,000-ish rerolls into it. I was like, yeah, obviously I have to keep going until the bitter end here. So, you can't be halfway
I don't
committed
have
on
that
a
in
journey
me.
of this type.
Just like doing this during TFT, like watching rounds and just like on the side, just not even looking at the client, just clicking around reroll.
The funny thing is that I had like stuff on the other screen, like a podcast or whatever, but it's one of those things where I have to listen to that because I actually have to watch this because I'm not doing an auto clicker and I'll be goddamned if I skip the role I was looking for. So no, I neckbearded this out here a few days ago. I sat here like at 8 a.m. and wrapped up at like 3:30 in the afternoon. Obviously, I wasn't rolling every second of every minute, but it's something where I'm off work. I had coffee. I had nothing else to do at that particular block of time. And yeah, that's basically how I spent a working day, doing this. So yeah. All right, Dagger, back to you. Sorry, I had to say
Oh,
that
no.
brief note about re-rolls.
This would probably be my Sunday while I watch football.
No doubt.
Just grind through this while watching football.
But
yeah, like even Sasha said he doesn't have it in him. Like, you're bad. You're down bad with your rerolls, but even Sasha's like, I don't have it.
yeah, no.
I feel like I've been training for like seasons of Datacrons to be ready for this, and it still broke me. My God, Tess, I'm impressed.
Don't be. I would. If it was anybody else but me, and I'm looking at it, I would make a face like a. Ugh.
I'm not going to out anybody, but I saw a screenshot of somebody said that they ran out and bought more reroll materials.
Degenerate behavior. Actual
I'm
degenerate
not even going to out
behavior.
them, but they said they ran out and had to use Shark Shop currency.
Yeah. That's the same guy that's overdrafting the ATM at the casino. Yeah. All right. Well, Dagger, back onto what you were, preparing here for this season.
Oh,
Datacron wise, and not only just the crons that you prepared, but also your plans for them, specific teams you're looking forward to setting up. So we just talked here a little bit about Maz with, queuing up with that healer cron. And if you weren't with us in the last episode, folks, the reason Fatal was recommending that is that, with Kix going just ahead of Maz, you would have the opportunity to then blitz down Lord Vader while he already has healing immunity. So when he might otherwise be getting that health restored, if you push him through halfway, not today. He wouldn't be getting that.
Also, the reason why that's important, the other reason that's important, is because the ignore taunt is tied to not being debuffed.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Fatal mentioned.
Yeah, so they have to just wail on Quiggold while you kill Lord Vader.
True. Nasty bit of work. But yeah, what do you got going?
No, I will shout out. I am not using Quiggold in that comp. I am using Kix S73. It might win with both. That's just S73 does.
So to be clear, you're running tankless.
In 5v5,
yes.
you're not doing a tank?
Tell us why. Tell us why real quick.
I mean,
I just don't feel it's necessary. You're not going to worry about getting stuck. Well, you've got SM33 to get away from Scorch. You're not worried about an individual getting blown down because you'll have, enough survivability and revive early on before, like, Lord Vader ults, all that sort of thing.
I'm trying to decide whether this is a 4v5 or a 3v5. I don't know, man. Like, we're so bulky that, like, if this was old attacker cron, absolutely I'm on Quig. But man,
so
that's gonna be a.
Go ahead.
No, Quig would absolutely be safe 4v5. I think this is also really just going to come down to maybe trying to get SM33 some potency, and also maybe interestingly, now that I think about it, Scorch Tenacity. Now SM33 potency does go crazy real quick, but like maybe at the start of battle that buys you some time.
Just fill us all in. What's the angle with the potency on SM33? Because I thought that buff immunity of his was. I thought it has a lock on it for some reason. I thought that's not something that that you can
I think it doesn't
not get.
Yeah, that sounds like a TW thing.
That's a TW thing, Taz.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Sorry, carry on. So okay, so you just want to be able to stick the buff immunity, fair, and then to have Scorch to counter. That's funny because remember when Scorch came out, I was originally thinking about the tenacity primary, but bulk really has been the law of the land just thus far.
I mean, you can still do 3 prot primaries and a.
You sure can. Yeah. You sure. And I did do just that at first. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I still have mine in the speed set because I like him fast, mostly for 3v3.
Mm-hmm.
And that way I don't have to move mods for 5s. Mm-hmm. But I could be sold on like a reasonably quick tenacity set. I got some pretty fast tenacity mods lying around where I could justify moving him over. It would also free up like a plus 160 set.
I would really have to see the matchup, but if somehow it turns out that like a really fucking premium top shelf, good speed, good tenacity, good armor, good bulk, just a fucking rabble-rousing dude can try to hold Maz at bay, that would be a very, very interesting pitch.
So it sounds like Fatal's going to R10 his Scorch and get back to us.
Probably not.
Damn.
That would be a big leg up,
Somebody
though.
else tries it.
It would.
Be a huge leg up, but I just don't want to throw R10s into the burning fire of 400 or 300% extra damage to Sith. I don't know, man. They sure did write that shit. I'm scared.
Well, fortunately for him, Scorch isn't Sith.
Yeah, but if the lead dies,
Yeah, it's not small comfort. Small comfort.
I already have my level 6s built, so
Yes,
I already
please.
know like how many of everything I'm going to have. I haven't gone past that yet, just because I've been putting this off because I need the use of my hands, basically. And I don't want to lose that use for a couple days.
Well, significantly
I
for
do-
most people, I mean, have you really changed up the mix of the level 6? Or rather, because you haven't
yes,
sat down to
yes.
do this yet,
Yes,
do you
I've
intend?
mapped out a
Mhm.
I've mapped out a different intent. I'm going to have, I think I'll actually put up. I have a notepad here that I put this into. 7 healer, 5 tank, 12 attacker, and the rest are kind of just flex. Probably support. I don't have a number for support here because I think I already have those already built. But yeah, 7 healer, 5 tank, 12 attacker. I think it leaves 6 support.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I might be a little still attacker heavy. I have a couple more dark side attackers than I might need, so that's something I'll have to think about. I noticed that you have, I think, maybe 1 or 2 more healers than I do, and then I expect most of you are going to have 3 or 4 more support crons that I don't have, something like that. I've got a few.
Are you rocking like 2 to 3 supports then?
Let's see here. Just 1, 2. What is that? Is that a support? Yep, 3. 4 total. Looks like 4.
That's probably low. Well, okay, that's low for 3s. That's probably fine for 5.
Something for me to think about. Yeah, because I do notice that I have what 6, 7, 8, 9 dark side attackers and 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Okay, so a total of 18 attackers still. Then again, my set is, I want to say I only have about 4 or 5 datacrons that are really at my discretion. A lot of this is focused around guild asks. So we'll see. I think everything I have is very much serviceable, though.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted like 16-ish, 15 to 16 attackers before, and I've trimmed that down a few. And I have really liked how a tank has overperformed in 3s. I don't know how good it's going to be in 5s. I mean, obviously, Malgus and Ahsoka are going to probably hold one unless you want to put a support on Ahsoka, which is also probably fine. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it all kind of plays out. But yeah, I definitely wanted a better, more balanced mix.
Appreciate that.
And
Teams
then I
you're
need to
looking
find
forward
out-
to. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
And then I just need to find out the stat profiles I want on each of them. Sasha and Fatal can correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen any broad scale guidance on like here's 20 crons we want you to work on. So I'm just kind of going by like look at my roster, what do I want to put on this team? What do I want to put on this team? And so forth. I mean, we have some asks, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that they went through and were like, all right, now that everybody has infinite rerolls, here's what we want.
Yeah, and whereas I got exactly that from my guild.
Yes,
so,
correct.
Yeah, they made it simple. I may not have as many options as I would like for my own little passion project crons, but the detail was explicit. There was asks for every role on each cron, and I appreciated that because that's how I was able to have a very focused effort of spending like a whole workday of re-rolling crons. So I actually appreciated that. Now, as far
that's
as
all I got for crons because I haven't done my due diligence yet. That'll be Sunday when I'm watching football.
Well, and just as we highlighted the Maz team using the healer cron earlier, is there a particular team or teams that you're really looking forward to placing or using on offense this season?
As far as the attention to detail goes, I think that there are. Let me pull this back up because I had a couple of teams written down. I'm still waffling on Star Killer on whether I want it to be lights or on what I want the level 3 to be, whether it be speed up or whether it be percent damage. because I do like the idea of them taking more turns, but I also don't like the idea of Attacker Cron like blowing my booty hole out because I have 9 stacks of speed up on Starkiller.
Yeah, I would figure the debuffs would be the safer, more regular way to go.
But going faster is still really good. Don't get me wrong.
It's generally better. No arguments here.
But and then the other one was Ahsoka, because I think I'm going to make 2 crons for her. Ahsoka, a tank and a support, and I'm not sure the stat profile I want on both. On the tank cron, I think I want more crit damage, just because she's going to get called to assist. But unsure on like what I want the stat profiles on those to look like. And I think those are the only like burning questions I have. The rest of the teams have already been like, I already have a decent idea of what I want you to hold. And a lot of them are going to look a lot the same. There's going to be a lot of... I'm going to have a lot of crons with 40% health and 120% crit damage.
Yeah, that's one thing, and I know we talked about this at some length, so we don't have to retread all this ground in our previous episode. But yeah, I asked you guys last time about how are you looking at dividing up your stats? The temptation with this, infinite rerolls is to maximize out one stat in particular, whereas I've actually found there's a significant contingent of people that are going for something like, say, 30 or 40% health, but still hitting about 100% crit damage, as opposed to 200% crit damage and no health at all. I just wonder, just briefly, if anybody had reevaluated that or had any further thoughts since we spoke on it just the other day.
I ended up in my like little notepad here. I have only 2 crons that are full one stat. One is full prot, one is full crit damage.
Fair.
And I have 2 different crons that are 3 stats.
Yes, I have a couple like that as well. Some, like, for example, armor penetration, enough to get like 100%, crit damage, enough to get something like 70%, and then, I don't know, 30, 40% health or some protection amount, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have a couple just
that's
like
kind
that.
of where I ended. I think out of my 30, I think around 21 of them or 22 of them are going to be 2 stats.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate that. Anybody else with something to say on that specific thought, though?
All of my crons are stat purists.
All one suited.
Yeah. I will say it is perhaps a bit funny and maybe indicative, though, to like, I'm messing around in Squad Arena, and I say, like, okay, show me support crons and sort by crit damage. And the second cron has 0 crit damage. I was like, ooh, I don't know if I like that feeling. But then again, it's like, if this season is trying to be hyper precise, everything measured, every team an assigned cron, then in theory that shouldn't matter unless I just need to be more flexible than I realize right now. But yeah, at the moment, every cron is bespoke. Every cron is single stat.
Okay, appreciate you, Dagger. Did we capture everything that you wanted to say about the teams you're looking forward to?
Yeah.
25? All right, good stuff. On to you, TJ. It's been a while since we heard you. I'm assuming that you're kind of passed out in the middle of building some of your kids' Christmas shit in the background. That's what I'd imagine.
No, that's done. Dude, this whole time we talking about it, I've been re-rolling. I'm on my iPad. Push, button. So you guys keep talking, man. We could take 5 hours because this is like the Christmas time. Oh yeah, dude. I just rolled a 34.33 crit damage on top of this, so it's been great. You guys have your discussions. I'm okay, man, because what am I gonna do?
While you're
I'm living in the
it,
world. So I'm like you. I got general consensus from the guild of what they want to see. Some of it I agree with, some of it I don't. So I'll probably do what I want versus what they say, and I'll meet them in the middle. I'm trying to dual setup. Like if I see a team, like to me, Ahsoka, I'd love a support one on top of a tank one, right? R10 Ahsoka, R10 Ezra. So it's like, how do I want to play the game? And there's some cheeky shenanigans there. I've also seen, I'm generally a fan of being, again, the guy from the It's Always Sunny. And it's like, well, where can I pull the most stats on the most rolls I've got? What is it, 420,000 for each thing. So it's like I got time to play and time to kill. Dual statting feels pretty concise to me. Um, I have like an idea of I know Inquisitors for me is going to be healer, so I can go roll one of those, and then that sits there, and then I'll play with the stats as I want to do it. Um, Jabba, I feel like it's going to be support, so I know I'm going to roll something like that. I've been a fan of that CAD 9. Obviously, it was the hard one to roll at the time until we got a million stats. Other than that, I'm trying to set up my best place possible where I feel like teams have two optimized options for the level 6 and then put that together. Again, like I said, tank and support feels like the Ahsoka way, right? Even in 3s or 5s, those two money makers right there. The Poe one is fun. Don't get me wrong on the FDC. Um, that's been my goal right now. How can I best optimize one cron to do two jobs? So if I look at a team or a setup that didn't work for me, let me adjust my cron that's also optimized highly for that and then put it somewhere else. Another good one, the Leia team. Leia feels great. She's going to be a great tank one, but also let's put some real good crit damage on that. So when I need to go do my Drogon and I've got this optimized attacker cron, that's going to be another way to go. And then where can I use that high crit damage attacker cron? Well, let's go with the special damage. I don't know, maybe Ray. So that's been my key right now of my pen and paper. I don't have notepad. Again, we all know for me, I'm mobile, everything, but I have a pen and paper out and I'm like, all right, this team wants these two. This team wants these two. How do I pull it? Light side, we have 3 good options, right? Maybe I want to do 2 buffs with the level 3 with the, obviously we all know attacker long text or the long text is going to be good. I'll put that there. So basic on speed up on dark side might be a better suit for another one, but that still might be a good optimized healer one because we know that's playing. So that's kind of how I'm playing it out. But we can keep talking while I keep re-rolling. The other thing I look at, and since we have the ability to do it, is you can roll pretty high numbers on the bottom, so your 1s and 2s. So that's a great one for critical damage. So I could put that there because I want 30% health, and that's going to be in your 7s and 8s, right? Or the
It's
protection
true.
wants to
Being
do it
able
because
to
obviously
get
JML.
about
So
it's true. Being able to get about 70% crit damage on max rolls on the levels 1 and 2 is very, very nice. If you're wanting to divide
and it just makes it
stats.
good, right? Where the harder, where you why would I want 10% health or protection or whatever when I can do 30% at the bottom and still get me a 40 or 50? We also know, like we've had our long discussion, and then Fatal, of course, burning the bridges of armor pen versus the crit damage setup, and damn you, Fatal, for readjusting the things. But it's another one of like if you're building these crons, I think we've also said many times, just look at the character who's going to utilize your armor pen. Like the SLKR and the LV are great for your armor pens; those are good numbers. Crit damage can go a long way, but also, are you re-rolling your character, which is where it would come to you, to make sure that you have CC? Because if you can put CC in the cron, I want to make super blasty numbers on my DC, and then I just have to accommodate that in my crit chances. So those are kind of what I'm playing with. I don't think I'll catch your 8,000 anytime, Tass. And
yeah, again,
also,
I wouldn't recommend the experience, so it's okay.
I also have to bless your guild for wanting to give you specific stats because this
An
one
autist's
is
dream was that
yeah,
table.
if you're left to your own your own vices, right? We're
Devices,
setting ourselves
yes.
up. You could shut up, Tass. Don't make me wary. If it's an internal thing, guys, but that's kind of where I've been at, man. You could go for a long time trying to find what you think is the right thing, put it on like for this setup, and then it just fails completely, and like you've just wasted your time. So I think that's the other part too that makes it so tough is the time you're wasting or investing and it not paying off, which is why I like Fatal. Fatal's doing great on the bespoke and he can flip. I think it's a great call out too. But just for personal to me, because of these stats, the dual feels right because then I might be able to mesh one, pull a stat off, and just go back and readjust.
Sure. And one thing you said that kind of picked something in my head is definitely consider, you'll have, if you were to write out all the teams that you're likely to set or use, you could probably think of what cron you'd want to assign. but also think then for the teams that you might
Yeah.
divide up. Like, sure, Bane's going to have a cron. Is that different if you're doing C Bane? How are you planning, on
Yeah.
doing your Ezra? Does your compositions for Rey change if Ezra's with Rey or if Ezra's with Ahsoka? Having your bases covered for your own flexibility's sake is worth considering. So if you're lining everything up and you're assigning all the crons and everything goes to a team that you're going to use, you'll actually see if you're short on anything for those objectives. So good segue there. Anything else we needed to cover from your plans with set 25, TJ?
I guess it's just the teams I'm looking forward to because I know that's part of the ask, right?
Sure.
Pirates is definitely one I want to exploit more on, and not talk. I'm talking the Moz setup, right?
Yes.
I love the healer idea, but they have a lot of different characters on the teams. I think healer with the healing immunity is going to be awesome, but these teams that are packed with multiple awesome options. If I decide I want to put my SME on there, and also with the Thano, maybe attacker fills because you're applying heavy debuffs in my opinion as well. So that's where I talk about the alternatives. Me would love to do some shenanigans on. Oh, we're gonna do that, and let's put some 2% on there, and we can go dark side, or we're gonna go light side and just make Maz go out in front. So it just, I'm having fun with the mixes. The characters. I've always been a fan of trying to theory craft not optimized, but just more fun options that have really good impacts. And that's why I've always been a general fan of not the team shenanigans, but the kits. Playing off the tank aspect, playing off the support aspect of trying to block it out. Those always feel like a lot of fun.
All right. Appreciate that. Over to you, Sasha. How about you? Your datacrons, how much re-rolling madness have you been involved in? Any change in your philosophy on how you're approaching the stat balance, the level 6 balance across your set 25 roster, and then, of course, the teams that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, sure. So being in the same guild as Dagger and Fatal, I mean, we have a number of those Datacron slots are called for, but so only a little bit of flexibility. But I changed the composition of my Datacrons pretty meaningfully just because I had been so attacker heavy. So I moved over to I think I went from like 21 attacker crons to like 14 maybe. And that still may be more than I need. Certainly in fives, I feel like that's more than enough. I have made sure to have, I think it's 8 support crons. I can see use for healer for sure too, and I think I have 3 healer, 5 tank. I have a few spots where I've concentrated on a single stat. I would say maybe a third of my crons are single stat, but the rest I like having a little bit of a mix and generally optimizing to like one of the thick rolls on level 7 or 8. Just because the ratio of like health to crit damage is far better in a level 7-8 versus a 1-2, and so I'll max crit damage. I also have a few matchups where armor pen is going to outperform crit damage. Not a lot, but a few. So I've made sure to have a few of those armor pen heavy. Again, I kind of like having a mix. Although if I go pure, I go almost exclusively pure crit damage. Just particularly for fives, where you're going to have a composition that's going to a squad composition is probably going to include some special attackers, or you're more likely to have low armor pen physical attackers in there, low base armor pen. Then in terms of stuff that like there haven't been specific squads that I have focused on, with the exception of like I've thought about Bane, I've thought about I probably won't get to use Gas 501st, but I'm intrigued by high armor pen for gas as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it particularly with the thick level 3 being available in this set. But the downside is, on defense it's super vulnerable, and on offense it's messy, and we're just not in a meta that rewards messy all that much. So yeah, That's where I am, Tess.
I appreciate that. And how about you, Fatal? We've kind of already teased out a couple of the things that you've been looking forward to here for the coming season. But yeah, aside from your single stat philosophy, any significant changes on your composition of level sixes, and of course other teams you're excited about.
So I haven't actually sat down and done the work yet, but I can tell you what my process is planned to be, which is right now I plan to treat support as the core focus and look for squads that can build meaningful puzzle boxes around protecting the support. I think week one is probably going to reveal support as kind of the explosive option, and it does have solutions, and I think a lot of people will sink or swim based on how they understand how to deal with it and can figure out which teams kind of shut it off or ignore it or disable it.
I was going to say, forgive me if I'm asking you to reveal too much. Feel free to tell me to pound sand if that's the case. But as far as teams that were an easy, obvious choice for the previous buffed up level 6 attacker, where are you thinking the support's going to make some big gains now? As opposed to attacker, like where you were otherwise planning attacker,
Well, I can tell you that if it's not support, I'm not going to be looking at attacker second. I'll be looking at tank probably. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not really looking at any teams that I haven't sat down and done the work, but the criteria will be what teams can meaningfully protect their support and make setups that will, because ostensibly with support cron, if you're well built, and depending on the matchup, and if the attacker can figure out how to shut it off, the tank won't die. You cannot cut through the tank, and you probably, if that's attackers are built properly too, you cannot cut through the attackers. You have to deal with the support first, and so I think that's an interesting thing to say, and then try to figure out how to stop them from doing so. So, yeah, that'll be what I'm messing around with.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I mean, I talked about Healer Cron when the set first came out in context of how crazy Attacker Cron was. As a healer on defense feels less necessary now that there's more tank and support cron and some attacker cron sauce. But I can't necessarily rule out the possibility of using that. I mean, healer cron is positioned very, very well for the playstyle that I was working on before this set came out. So maybe I will end up, by the time block comes around, maybe I will end up wanting to go more back to that if I'm trying to go more back to my old playstyle. It will probably just depend on how confident I feel in the sauce for stuff like support, tank, attacker. Healer seems just like a safe default, I'm gonna bleed you option.
Very fair. All right, guys. Any other thoughts we wanted to throw in here about set 25? We've run through most of the prepared items I've had, so if there's nothing else, we'll move right into patron questions. So here's the floor. Anything else you guys wanted to throw in?
What is the minimum number of rerolls you will accept from someone and not call them a bum? I'm asking for a friend.
Are you asking what I would say in the general case, or are you asking me personally, looking down my nose at somebody with less than 8,500?
Oh, so 8,500 is your number.
No, I'm saying I don't know if that is my number. I'm saying like that's somewhere around where I am, right? So it's just like
I'm asking you that if you pulled my account and saw that I did 3,500 rerolls, what would your reaction
be?
be?
The first word that pops into my mind: casual.
Okay. What is the number that would make you not say casual?
I don't know. I would say that when I did this on that day, I did another couple hundred rolls since that day, but that day was like 8,400, pretty much on the nose. If you were somewhere 8K plus, it's like, heck, this guy was busy. You did not accident your way into 8K rolls. I'm pretty sure that your auto clicker would have given out before then. Like it would have snagged on something before then. You really had to be doing that.
So 8K is your
I
number?
guess it's 8, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will keep that in mind for my friend on how much he
Yeah.
decides.
You let that guy know. Entirely separate individual. All right. Anything else, though,
Man.
gentlemen, before we move on?
I will shout out that I think my prediction for this season and this set as a whole, I think the more that you sit with the mechanics, I think that we are entering kind of a rock, paper, scissors setup, which may unfortunately mean that the defense is less saucy than it looks once the whole puzzle has been solved, which then would also probably mean I end up back towards healer. But yeah, I do think it's going to be a fun few weeks. I think it's going to be a very, very fun. If you're willing to build some puzzles, I think you'll probably catch some people out.
Fun.
We're going to get the Stranger for week 2, right?
Correct. I think I'm saving a 10 for that. And it's not, and you know, our last episode, we talked about some Relic 10 priorities, and we kind of explored that in the sense that if you're going to get the added benefit for having the increased Relic level for the sake of the basic, I'm curious how much value you'll get out of it because it's only stacking on his turn. Then again, this guy is getting a crazy number of bonus turns, so he would be doing a disproportionate number of basics. And even if that wasn't enough, I do think that certainly I'm going to have him at Relic 9 day 1 anyway. I'm prepared for that. So at that point where I'm going to try and shoot for something like 3 health primaries and a crit damage triangle, and so all that much more health would fuel his health-based true damage, and that's kind of what I'm thinking of. I don't know if it's the most worthy Relic 10, but it's on the radar. Sorry.
I think it's unreasonable to expect that you will use more than 2 basics in a match. That team just has so much damage.
Yeah, the damage may completely ruin the value behind any sort of stacking on the basic. It's fine. Knowing nothing else, I can see that the basic is not enough of a reason to consider the Relic 10. Maybe with the added health on top of it, and granted, as an attacker, that amount's going to be like 2K. 2 to 4K.
No, it's all good. You just referenced as one of the main reasons you wanted the R10 him.
Sorry?
You just mentioned as one of the bigger reasons you wanted the R10 him, and he's going to go special, basic, special. And if the fight lasts more than 6 turns, I'm going to be just absolutely fucking shocked.
Yeah, I had to look through it today. I got to tell you, I mean, I can pull it up here and we can look at it together again. But the thing is, this guy is getting way more bonus turns than I was originally cognizant of.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just saying, like, I don't think he's going to take more than 6 turns.
Yeah, and you're saying that not bonus turns be damned, the amount of damage coming out of this team should ruin any chance of talking about stacking on the basic.
I assume the majority of people I fight are going to jam Starkiller on this team and have his unique active. And they're going to go first and fuck you up.
Fair.
If they don't put Starkiller there, then sure, the fight might last a little longer. But I don't see the Stranger lead Starkiller team,
Yeah. And I mean, since they are designing it very much with the intention of Starkiller stepping up into this team, you would be foolish to not be preparing for the worst case scenario, considering the worst case scenario. Yeah. So fair enough.
But that being said, I'm not saying he's a bad option. I just don't think he's a priority because we don't even know what beats him. Yeah. And what if that thing that beats him is just so mechanically a hard counter that it doesn't matter what his relic level is? Fair. And that's why I don't imagine. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but what if Gungans just kicks the shit out of it? Then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because I think a team like Gungans would have a chance because they don't actually care about the damage output because they have the shield generator. I
see it. They do.
And I'm not saying they're going to win.
Bonus turns galore both sides of that fight, by the way. Hilarious. Huh? I said it's bonus turns galore on both sides of that fight. That would be hilarious to see.
Yes. But yeah, I think the Stranger is going to be amazing, and I am actually working on building an attacker cron for that team. He's one of the ones I have on my list to build for.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just casually another one of those that's like, I think I have 50% health, 80% crit damage is what I'm targeting for him.
Nice. Wow. Yeah. Sounds savage. Is he a big beneficiary of armor penetration? Doesn't look like it at
I
all.
don't think his team is.
Well, I mean, it's tough to judge because obviously you don't really have anything when you're an unlocked character. But whatever, I'll look at that later. When that's the other thing is, man, I can't wait to finalize what I'm going to do with this guy set wise. I just need him in my hands. All right, any other comments on, I guess, the stranger or anything else? All right. Moving on into patron questions. I did give notice about this basically the day after we'd finalized. Unfortunately, that only left about 36, 48 hours, something like that, for folks to get in questions. Meanwhile, you were all busy getting ready and then having Christmas. So, fair enough. We don't have a ton of questions tonight, but the first one is up from Salbag. Favorite Christmas present this year, either given or received? For me, I'll make it easy and say received. I don't really need a whole lot for my day-to-day life. Everything's pretty solid as far as creature comforts goes. And Mrs. T did have the foresight to, because I usually have a fairly big mug here. I want to go downstairs, fill up an insane amount of coffee, come back up here, and then, sip it over the next hour-ish, something like that. Go get another maybe. And yes, somewhere around halfway, I'm starting to cool off, get a little lukewarm. So she got me something that's about coaster-sized warming plate. It's basically looks like a coaster. I'll set my mug right on it. It's got the beveled edge, so it sits right inside and doesn't move around, and it's heated from the bottom up. So very nice. Dagger, how about you? Gifts?
Yeah, so my two, for me it's two, and they're pretty much in the same vein as yours. I showed you this, but I was given a new hardened 1-gallon water jug that is really nice, and it'll hopefully, because my old one was kind of ratty and it was plastic and it had scratches on it from being, dropped and dinged, etc. And the other Christmas present I really enjoyed is on the same vein of what Tass got. I got an electric. It's a 3-cup electric tea/coffee maker. So I can literally I have a portable. It has a little base it sits on, and I can make myself tea or coffee in it and pour it in my coffee cup. It's basically a coffee maker, but imagine a coffee maker that's like twice the size of a coffee mug.
Yeah, still pretty small profile. Fits nice on the desk and whatnot.
Yeah. So I have that, and it has a sealable spout, so it won't spill on any electronics or anything.
The one thing that still sits in the back of my head that I never think to ask for, but I always remember after Christmas is there's a part of me that still wants a kegerator. Doesn't need to be a big thing. Give me something that'll take a pony keg. I'm not talking about no full keg. I can make that happen. Anyways, fair enough. Thank you, Dagger. On to you, TJ. So yeah, aside from putting another decade of wear and tear on your body in the last 48 hours, putting everything together, best gift given and or received?
Received. So I'm kind of a. You can't shop for most guys. They make it easy. So I collect the Disneyland lightsabers. The good ones or whatever.
Mhm.
So the wife will try to get that for her birthday and or Christmas. And this Christmas, they surprised me. I got the Ahsoka lightsabers. So that was a fun received. Best gift given. It's actually Mindy who did all the work for but I kind of went to UTAS. I also went to Womprat, one of the other patrons that were talking about it. Middle child wants to start streaming. And so I talked to you about it to start, and then doing all the homework, he kind of gave me the checklist of go hit this, and then had it built up, but helped our son get a gaming PC that was basically like $2,000 or whatever it's going to end up. So basically parts that we won't have to rebuild. So this should just carry him out for whatever he's trying to do. That was probably the best given.
Yeah, it's not, at that price point, you're talking about a machine that's going to be able to play new games, if not absolutely ultra over the life of it, at greater than average settings for like 6+ years. Like that's a hell of a machine.
So I still got no PC, but my son's got like a 12 fan cooling, just super edgy, like got the full 9. I'll go borrow his PC whenever we need to do it, so that way we can do it.
Dig that. Yeah, you're gonna have to steal it and stream your own Grand Arena matches. I think that's obvious.
Right? Yeah, let me just go ask him if I set up
Yeah.
I can borrow his
Right,
PC.
because he's like,
No,
Go
Dad,
out of
you're
your room.
always hogging my PC. It's like funny because you're
Yeah,
always
go out of your
hogging
room, son.
one
I
of
need
my
to get on.
bedrooms and one of my
That's right.
electrics and one of my waters and one of my internet bills. Interesting.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no. Like what you got to do, TJ, is you got to do the I got a computer, and then your kids start using your computer, and then you have to buy your kids a computer, and that's how we have one $2,500 computer and two $2,000 computers in my house.
There you go. There you go.
Jesus.
But it's in his room, so he's just borrowing it from me for long periods of time.
Mm-hmm. Well, how about over to you, Sasha? Favorite gift, given and or received?
Sure. So I'll tell you, received with like tops my list for sure, and it was a total surprise. My oldest daughter has some artistic ability. I have none, but she really does. And she took a wedding photo from my wife and I, one that we know and we've had up for a while. And she did like a hand drawing of it and put it in a frame. And it was awesome. Like I loved that. And any of her art I tend to really enjoy, but that was a surprise. So that was a huge personal uplifting moment for me. So that was really neat. And then the gifts given, like it's almost everything was sort of focused around my girls, and it was mostly like there wasn't a ton of creativity because my girls prepare like not PowerPoint, but Google slide presentations of what they want, and everything's sort of prioritized and have a sense of budget. So like for us, the big thing was we got a little bit of jewelry for them, not like nice expensive jewelry, but like a little more expensive than like the $10 a piece stuff that they tend to get for themselves, and they really liked it. Like that was the only thing that was not like totally predetermined or dictated from them, and we got that right. So that felt good.
Fantastic. Appreciate that. Over to you, Fatal. Oh, you want me to put that up on screen in a minute, Dagger? I'll do that in a minute. But
Yeah. No rush.
I'll do that. But over to you, Fatal. Favorite gift, given or received?
I was given a carrying case for my fight stick for traveling around to competitions. So
Competitions for what? What are you competing in out there?
Toy Scout, the league fighting game.
Oh, okay. Dig that. All right.
Possibly other fighting games in the future, but right now that's the first one. One I'm most interested in.
Are you still ascending in that, or have you like leveled out? Like, where are you at rank wise in that right now?
I'm Grandmaster, which is like technically the highest rank. Mm-hmm. There's also Challenger, which is like top 100. I don't know. I'm not good at the game. Fighting games have a very, very high skill ceiling. I'm still basically just getting started and like have a long literal list of stuff I need to do to get better. But I'm decently placing in local tournaments right now for a newcomer. So,
well, how's the highest you've placed in a real life tournament so far?
I got to losers semis, so I don't know if that's around like 5th or what that exactly breaks out to. I don't know exactly. It's a double bracket.
Semi-finalist. So yeah. Okay.
It's but 5th grade is the perfect way to put it. Yeah, it's this is all very new to me, but they knew I was doing it and was very interested in it. So, good gift.
That's awesome. I don't know how I've most of the competitive things I've done, they measure your success in top 8s. So notch 1 in the belt.
Nice. For sure.
Yeah, it'll be cool to take that and run with, and I also might try. I'm not doing Magic the Gathering, but I'm apparently just a fucking riot show because I'm also thinking about trying the league card game and go into locals for that shit too. I don't know.
Big bad.
Just
you talking about Legends of Runeterra?
That died and it has been recycled into a physical card game called Earthbound.
Oh, okay. Did not know that. Have not been dialed into that shit. But that's actually really slick. I didn't know that.
It's basically an MTG competitor.
Yeah, I might look into that.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
I do like the Riot IP a lot.
I'm not like here because it's that. I'm here because the game itself looks sick, but it happens to be that. So I am apparently just a Riot Shell now because I'm also playing TFT.
Right. And that's what I'll be doing after this stream, by the way, is I got to get back on it. I'm trying to hit platinum soon. It's a long road. Long, cold road.
Lots to work on.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me pull up here what Dagger linked. Now, tell us what you got here for the missus.
Oh, this is what I bought the girlfriend because she was. See, this is why you listen to the women in your life. For a few months, she's been talking about how it's frustrating to have to put extra elbow grease into the whiteboard because it's just not coming off the same. And the look on her face, because we don't really get each other gifts because, it's for the kids. And when one of the presents had her name on it, she gave me like a side eye, like, oh, what kind of dumb shit is this? Did I buy her something I want her to wear? That kind of thing. And then she opened it, and the look on her face, she was like a little girl, just, oh my God, so happy. It was,
Fantastic.
it made my Christmas. Don't get me wrong, love watching the kids open presents too. But seeing that feeling come from her, oh, it was wonderful. Didn't tell her I was getting it. And then I had to program it, fucked it up, factory reset it, and then set it up correctly. But yeah, It's now hanging in our kitchen. It is fantastic.
Very nice.
Favorite gift given.
It occurs to me, Fatal. I didn't know if you wanted to highlight a gift given or anything, or was it just otherwise a pretty mundane exchange?
I thought it was either or. To be honest, the gifts that I gave out actually turned out to have technical difficulty, so I'm going back for it. I mean, I'll call it out. I'll say it. I gave out a lot of ember bugs, and apparently that shit has a horrible battery life. Like it will stop working within 3 months.
Oh,
so, my bad for. I mean, someone else said that they got a heating plate here. That sounds way more like. Yeah. Way more long-term sustainable than a cup that loses battery in 3 months.
Yeah, but it's one of those. It's the thought that counts kind of things. All right. Okay. All right. Next question in here again from Saldag. Now you said this could honestly be a segment on its own, but your wishes for Swugga in 2026. That could be characters, factions. Those could be new or revisited factions. Updates to game modes, like, is this going to be the year of TW? Quality of life updates, or anything else you can think of. So, we'll give a few minutes each to this topic. Dagger, anything that jumps immediately in mind to you?
Yeah, PvP fucking sucks. Fix it.
Okay, PvP modes.
Outside of that, like I think we'll all agree on the PvP modes needing to be fixed or updated or just scrapped and put a new one in.
Safe
something
opinion.
along those lines. As far as things for quality of life that I would like, I would love for there to be just a better Datacron UI. Now, they did way better by letting us scroll through the Datacrons. But what I would really want more in our inventory is the ability to flag or name or filter by like crit damage, right? Like, how you can do with mods. Just some kind of way to filter your Datacrons for like a UI component.
It is annoying that the hoopty way you have to do that is to go to Squad Arena, load in, look at your crons that way and sort by the stat to see which cron do I actually have that has the highest crit damage, the highest health. I have to go and do this like an asshole.
Yeah. I always feel really fucking dumb when I do that.
Sure.
The other, most of these are just going to be quality of life thing, for the most part. The other one would be, this is PC client specifically, and it's going to sound so petty and stupid.
Yes.
If a store reset happens and I go to find something, if a store reset has happened and I haven't checked the store, it shows it as blank. Like if I'm trying to find attenuators, but a store reset happened and I go click on the find on attenuators, it'll show up as blank. But if I go to the store, it's there. And like I said, it's petty, it's small, but that's how I always had to find it because we didn't have as good access to all the stores back in the day. So I would always just hit the find button, and it's broken on the PC client in that fashion. Outside of like some of those quality of life,
It works
things,
the same, by the way, on at least on iPad. Like if you don't manually go in and check the store, it's not in its search results.
Okay, yeah, it's so dumb. It doesn't need to be fixed, but it sure would be nice. Outside of that, I think Obviously, I have my own. We've ad nauseum kind of, maybe not ad nauseum, but we've several times hit on factions that we personally like. So I would love to see more KOTOR, SWTOR stuff, more Mitra Surit, Kreia, Atris. They have the new video game they announced, which looks kind of cool. We'll see how that ends up playing out, and maybe we'll get stuff from there. But yeah, KOTOR went a long way towards helping me in my high school and college years. So I wouldn't mind seeing or having more of that in the game.
Very
I
fair.
don't know. Most of it's just simple quality of life stuff. I'd have more if I had seen that question and been able to put prep work into it. But there's a handful of just like buggy UI shit that I would just like fixed, and I don't want to turn it into some pedantic like, here's a list of 30 like stupid UI things I want fixed. But that's really all I want from this game. Like they've already made it pretty clear what the future of this game is going to look like from an error perspective, and it doesn't matter if I like it or not. We know what it's going to look like. So let me target some of these UI things that they might actually fix.
Okay.
So,
any one, you get your soapbox for just a moment more. Any one particular UI, top UI thing.
Datacron sorting.
Oh, okay, that one. All right, very good.
Yeah, that's the one that I see every day and grind my teeth.
Fair enough. No, I do appreciate that. I do. Over to you then, TJ. What do you want to see most in 2026? It could be anything about anything. Floor is yours.
How much do you want to go? Do you want to just do
Like I
TLDRs
said,
and do it that way?
let's have a few minutes each.
We're a GAC show, so if we're gonna do that, we're a GAC show. PvP.
Well, this is a GAC show, but the spirit of the question is, what do you want?
No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm here for PvP as a contest and end game user. So if you're going to ask me something, living in a world, I would love to see a revamp. I'm not gonna give ideas. That's not my job. My job as a consumer is to use. I would love to see an adjustment, some updates, to some excitement to PvP. They're trying to do other things for the PvE side. They've never touched it. I'm gonna go number 2, just because it needs to be said. They've literally let ships die. They put it in the game and let the shit die forever, and then they'll come out with something, and that's a new team. Something Dagger said it. I'd be okay with the ship mods. Come back with some kind of just that's where you get crystals is another part of your usage, right? For anybody who's actually putting an investment to the game, so ship still has some kind of merit. Why not actually put some care and love into that idea? Even though we're playing the character game, they have ships there. Do something with it. Stop letting that shit just be what it is. And a personal favorite with me, I thought they did really good, and then this Trust Us Bro shit has really just like end of the year. This Trust Us Bro shit's got to go. They did so good at communication, and they were so good about it. You could do it like clockwork, and I thought they were phenomenal. And I'd fight anybody who had to come back. Then they went to the 10th year, and then it was Trust Us Bro. And every trust has been broken. Just go back to consistent communication so you know what you get, a la the mall setup. If their old setup would have been this way, they would have told you everything right from the gate, and you would have known what you were doing to walk into it. I talked to people in this show who have said, if I would have known this, I could have made a better informed judgment. And I can't do that now because it's too late. The Trust Us Bros out, man. You guys are doing good.
You also have to wonder how much of that's very intentional. Or does poor baby not have full knowledge of what he's going to need, and now he doesn't have enough stars?
Yeah, it's old. You guys did really good, and you guys were at such the right track that it was like everybody had to agree, hate it or love it. I could set my clock to knowing when a new character is coming out, what we were going to do, and what it was going to cost. And everybody in the general health of the game felt that improvement. Yes, you're going to have a couple naysayers, but I'm sorry. Communication is a key. The don't know shit and the Trust Us Bros got to go. I'll leave it with those.
Fair takes. All right, over to you, Sasha. What are you looking forward to most in 2026? It can be what you want to see. Yeah. It can be what you don't want to see.
Yeah, I'll just throw out 3 things. I think those are good answers, TJ. I like that. I'll keep mine a little higher level because I think a lot of the thinking underneath it's probably already been covered. But number one, I want to see PvP signs of life. And like, I'm not going to get prescriptive. I'm not too demanding, but I just would like to see some signs of life on both the TW, but mostly for me personally on the GAC side. I just think for sustainability of the game, it'd be really valuable. The next thing, this is just a small little thing, and it's the kind of thing that, like a lot of Christmas gifts, if I got it, I'd probably just waste it, or like it wouldn't make as much of a difference as I feel like in the moment it might. And that is just extra mod inventory. I keep hitting the mod cap. I've been hitting the mod cap for
You're
years
here.
and years. And yes, I've got mod lockers certainly, but like it'd be nice to just that feels like a stocking stuffer, extra mod inventory. Then the last thing I'll add, just because I loved the show Andor, is I'm excited for and hopeful that we would get an influx of Andor characters, and then I'll add to that like just a deserved positive aspect for CG here is that I look forward to getting them with that like the cool thematic flavor that CG tends to do quite well with the kits and interplay of new teams that come out and then new squads and also new characters, because I think there was so much that was I loved about that show, and that is a like at least for me a prime spot for them to leverage their IP to get desensitized spending out of me. So there you go.
I like that. Good stuff. How about you, Fatal? What do you want to see most in 2026, or not see? I guess. Yeah. What would you have them remove if you hated it that much? Go on.
Um, I guess for negative, I think ships is going to happen just based on that one interview that they did where they were talking about like figuring out ways to make ships interesting, as well as if you're a fucking tinfoiler, the suspicious UI shift for ships seems like really, really specific to like.
Yeah.
Boy howdy, that sure is a space that looks made for mods. I hope that it is letting us use our mods and ships and not, hey, we are adding ship mods to the game.
That's what it's going to be, though. And what I'm so afraid of is that a lot of people talk about ship mods, and I don't want to poo poo anybody's enthusiasm to see something add some variety to fleets, but will it actually be variety, or is it just pushing the ceiling up on the same old arms race? That's my fear. And if it is that, then it's just going to be whale food, and that's just going to further segment the community on the basis of who is going to whale out for the ship mods. That's my biggest fear with those. Sorry, please continue.
If I sorry.
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, I was just say, I think it depends on how they do the ship mods. Like, if they do it like, I don't know if you guys know how Marvel Strike Force did their ISO 8s, where it's basically flat numbers, but they don't like, not RNG. You get base numbers and you can crunch them. You can like crunch materials to level them up. And I think that would be fine, but having RNG would be miserable, I think. I would like to see the ability to move or add speed in flat numbers just to change turn orders, because I think that'd be the easiest way to change up the fleet meta. But that's just me.
Well, that's the thing. Would it actually change the fleet meta, or would the compositions of the main fleets largely remain unchanged? Obviously, pure speculation. We have no idea how they might implement such a thing. But that's my greatest fear, is that, yeah, you get these let's say it isn't even just like what I'm thinking about in the worst case, which is here's a ship mod that is for this ship. You upgrade this ship mod, and then it's like, okay, well, then it's like a new relic system just for ships. Like, you're just going to upgrade the ship mod over and over and over.
Well,
in which case...
I'll give you a perfect example. I cannot use my negotiator versus triple attacker because my marauder is too fast. Because I have R9 pilots.
You'd like to be able to adjust that down. Yeah.
Or adjust my capital ship and Anakin in front.
Sure. Sure.
That's what I'm saying specifically is I would like the ability to change turn orders because that may open up additional counters.
That may well be the case. I could appreciate that if it ended up working.
Knowing that, and then the Empire fleet versus Profundity gets turned off if your gauntlet's too fast. So that's why I had that. Why I thought of that initially was it may allow like actual flexibility. Sorry, Faye, I didn't mean to. Right, I just wanted to add that like I would like ship mods in a specific way. Not trying to be too picky, but I don't want them to be new mods with RNG stats that you have to roll and build. You know what I mean?
RNG would be untenable. Like for Fleet in particular, I don't think that they could do that. Ship mods would have to be something more strictly defined in whatever fashion, because there's no way you could accept that if you and I both spend $200 or whatever it costs on ship mods, whatever. We did the same efforts in, with that whatever re-rolling or assignment or whatever you can do that rewards your own choices, and we spent the same money, and you just happen to be able to roll me because things broke your way by +1 or +2. Like, nah, there's no way. There's absolutely no way RNG can be some part of Fleet mods. So I would rage. I would rage. Grab the pitchforks, lads. Back over to you, Fatal. Thank you for your patience.
My highest priority one would technically actually be like a queuable turbo GAC, but I don't think that's practical. So like friend requestable GAC would kind of let us remake that in the aggregate, I guess. Yeah, just a way to play GAC on demand when available would be lovely, I think, to help just kind of make the game feel more alive and more engageable.
You could just have that open during the off week.
Well, I'd rather just have it on all the time.
Yeah, but I'm saying like CG wants GAC to be a thing. So if I could just fight my friends, I would.
Well, you wouldn't want to play for rewards?
Not really.
You are speaking to a very minority portion of the player base then.
They've already said they won't do anything that doesn't have rewards based attached to it, so that's not even a thing.
Well, that's what I would want.
Mm-hmm. We asked. That's fair.
Yeah, that's my opinion. Andor would be cool, but at this point, I would almost like to see it be a GL if I could be greedy. It seems like if Andor era isn't happening by now and doesn't happen in the next 4 months, I think the odds of Andor GL actually become like weirdly high. I mean, to be clear, they randomly fucking went pirates. This is me having delusions of grandeur, but of grandeur, if you will.
Gross, but also good.
But look, man, we're going into like the mall show, the Mando movie, and it doesn't seem like CG does immediate day and date stuff. So I don't think those will happen in the next 12 months. I would imagine that will be year 2027 type shit. So yeah, I would like to see Andor. I would also say, yeah, let's maybe explore some KOTOR 2 stuff. Maybe, although I will shout out, I wonder if they will actually be able to do FOTOR stuff, because we are no longer in the era of EA owning the rights, and now we are in the era of other studios having rights, and they might not be able to touch that shit at all.
For those of us that went whoosh over their hat, what is FOTOR?
Fate of the Old Republic?
It's the new game
that's under development. Yes,
the new game I kind of mentioned where they show Atris or whatever her name is.
Yes. No, that I remember seeing the trailer for that. I just hadn't committed the acronym to memory yet. Very good. Please, anything else?
Yeah, I think the last time we got a team with a show was Bad Batch, like OG Bad Batch. And then they waited a long time to give us Omega because we all thought it was until we watched the show.
Well, and to be clear, Fatal, when you said Andor GL, do you mean GL Andor himself, or do you mean somebody else from the show as a worthy galactic legend?
I think I've come around to the idea. I think Cassian Andor should be a motherfucking GL. If Hondo Onaka is gonna be
in terms of galactic significance, I see where you're coming from.
If Jabba could be a GL, why can't Cassian? Jabba also kind of sucks. as a GL.
It's got to be either Cassian or Luthen, and they're not going to do Luthen.
Yes. Yeah. I feel
I
like
think it's
Luthen
Cassian.
feels like more like the galactic legend. Right? Like Andor is the agent who is getting it done on the ground, but not save for the plans and logistical forethought of Luthen and all of that. Like he's really the mastermind to me.
Cassian is the guy behind the guy, which maybe actually makes him a weird choice for a GL. But at the same time, he is the guy behind all of the guys, right?
It's true. It's true. Yeah, it's a good
I have
arguable
zero
discussion.
problem with it.
It
Fatal,
would also
trust
be
me,
really-
I'm
yeah,
100% aligned.
It would also be really weird to get a GL Luthen after getting a Conquest Luthen. I don't personally. I think that would be odd because you already gave us a Luthen that's busted. So like, why would you give us a new Luthen that's busted?
There is a suspicious lack of Cassian Andor in a game that has a recent Saw Gerrera, a recent Luthen, brother.
New
What are
Mon
we-
Mothma?
They gave him a fucking TB Omicron that turned him into Wat Tamborn. What are we doing?
And to be fair, the show is not named Luthen.
Yeah, I do think that Andor is like they've really been. I don't want. It sounds negative when I say this, but they've already kind of sullied what a GL is when they released Jabba, and then Hondo was a good meme because Hondo was like, "Hey, I was at this battle." Well, no, the fuck you weren't, but he's telling the story, so yeah, he was. Woohoo! So that was cool. I guess. So yeah, why can't Cassian be a GL?
Yeah, I mean,
He has more
I do
galactic
kind
implications than
of.
either of those two.
Hmm?
He has more galactic implications than Jabba or Hondo.
See, I see why you say that. I think he has more overt galactic implications than Jabba. Jabba was a crime lord. He isn't out on the front lines affecting galactic events. That's what he pays people for. He gets to
Jabba
sit
wasn't
on
even the
his fat
biggest
slug
hut-
ass and have somebody else do the hoofing.
But Jabba wasn't even the biggest hut in the Hut cartel.
He's the biggest hut we know, isn't he? Like,
Not in Legends.
well,
But Legends doesn't really exist.
yes, exactly.
My point is that my point that I'm trying to make is that like Jabba felt weird for a GL.
I see why you say it in terms of the overt action, but I do disagree in the sense that his, anywhere where the Hutt cartel had even the barest presence, he had a finger in that pie. So it's like that the guy really did have galactic reach. Anyway, the viewers know where we're both coming from, so that's fair.
Yeah,
Can I clarify something? Just because I want to manage my own personal expectations and enthusiasm that's perking here. Do you guys really think that there's a shot like Cassian? We could get Cassian as a GL in this game. I'd not
Yes.
allowed myself to think that.
They
I
say
think it's
just to help you. They have clearly said that for everything it takes to go through the thing through Disney and all that's about 12 months. Andor was one of the biggest shows when it came out to 2025, just like Ahsoka, right? We got Ahsoka. So there is a possibility for a Rebel fighter setup to go through. And considering we're at 2025, they could be working their way up to call Andor or Cassian, right? The great Rebel hope to build up spirit, and then that brings up the Rebel fighters, that brings up Rogue One. If you want to, there's a whole bunch of applications you could do there. So it's not beyond belief that because of how it won actual awards, right? So there is the ability for that to come in. So the whole piece of it coming through is they could easily go that way because you could take other Rebel fighters who are old Jedi who aren't there and then also bring them up for relics. So there's a bunch of ways they could do it. So I would say yes.
Appreciated, TJ. So that's really, I got to quickly change one of my prior answers. I said what I was going to be relicking this week. I'm not relicking anything. I'm hoarding everything so I can take Clea straight to relic 11, just so you guys know. No other movement. Go for it.
No, I think that you could easily come up with arguments for why it could be or why it probably isn't. The one thing, if I'm allowing myself to manufacture some copium, I think Andor has had a IP revitalization effect that a lot of other Star Wars at the moment does not. That from a business perspective might also make some sense to CG.
Also, this is a slightly different take on it, but if they are going to do another GL, that GL is probably going to come out end of 2027, end of 2026 or early 2027. And since we haven't heard any hide nor tail of Rogue One or any Andor content, I think that if we start seeing Andor content over the summer, I think it's going to be very. I think that it's very likely that if we get a GL end of 2026 or even early 2027, it's going to be Andor because the new releases that are coming out, we already have them in game. For example, new Ezra's already in game. Ahsoka
Wasn't there a
already in game
Thrawn
as a
reference
GL.
though?
Huh?
I thought that they mentioned Thrawn. Maybe that was not official. There was just a ton of noise around Thrawn being the next GL.
I
It
don't
was
think
a
they
ton
ever.
of noise.
It was just a lot of
That's what
noise,
it was.
and it ended up being Hondo. And I'm not saying that Thrawn won't be a GL, but what I'm saying is that I think it's basically if we're getting our next GL will either be Thrawn or it will be Ezra. And I think if we get Thrawn, or it's not Thrawn, it'll be Thrawn or Andor. And I think if we get Thrawn, it won't be for 6 months to a year after the climax comes out, which is going to be like this summer/fall. So I don't think we're going to get Thrawn this year.
I think the pool for possible next 1 to 2 GLs is like probably Mandalorian, probably Thrawn, probably. God, I had this lined up.
Andor's
What
on
did
that list for sure. Cassian's on that list.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of
Who's the ISB chick?
Oh,
She's also on that list.
Daedra Miro.
Yeah,
that is not going to be a GL. I think
No.
ISB 100% should
She's
be
just
I
GL.
gonna
would have
be
said
a
the same thing
support.
about
Yeah, I
Hondo.
worry about it.
I would have said the same thing about Hondo.
Oh, Criminal Mall, I think, would also be.
Hmm.
Yeah, but his show doesn't come out till next year, and I think that we would.
Yeah, it's too early. It's too early.
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
2027, maybe.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying that the next GL that's coming out late 2026. I'm just saying, like you said, the pool's like 3 or 4 characters, and for your and just so you know, Sasha, yes, Cassian is one of them.
Well, anything else from you, Fit? Or things you want to see in the game?
PvP rework. Also, mod QOL. I will give up mod space if it's required for server costs to do this. If we could just have like 2 mod slots on every character, one for TW, one for GAC or something, or like
a rotatable saved page that it doesn't actually cost you credits or problems. It's literally just like having a 2-sided mirror, and you flip it over to the other side.
Yeah, and be like,
yeah,
all right.
having two loadouts basically.
So I don't have to swap between TW and GAC all the time would be pretty
like that.
cool. I think.
I have 2 other things to add to mine then, because I would also like that, and I would also give up like 100 mod slots for it, because it would be effectively mod slots. Because you would use mods you weren't using someplace else. And I didn't think of it in the way of can we get rid of something? Because that was mentioned by somebody that they would get rid of something, and it's like, can we get rid of TB? You're basically just rewarding a guild for you're rewarding guilds for guild size and making them do shit for a week to get it.
I mean, you know the answer is no, because you just already answered why they wouldn't. Yes, game mode that rewards you for having just spent a sheer amount of resources, aka in all real terms, probably dollars, to be able to make big stars in TB. Yeah, they're not going to scrap that.
Yeah, the difference between your guild trying hard and my guild deploying is like 2 stars.
I would say, can we make TB hard again? But I don't want to get killed in my sleep.
Yeah, I mean, that's a
Mute
mixed bag.
fatal.
Make it hard but simmable. Make TB hard but simmable.
Make it optionally hard. Make it a checkbox that says, "Are you a dumbass?" And I can be like, "Yeah, absolutely, I am. Please, just fuck my shit up."
Fair. All right. Well, so did we catch you there, Fatal? Because I know Dagger piggybacked on you there for a second. All right. So I mean, for my own part, really would want to see either a replacement for Grand Arena as a way of getting rid of the Erodium bug, or maybe 2 years is the number that they were looking for. They had a stack of other priorities to deal with in the last 2 full calendar years, but maybe, just maybe, they might find the time, the opportunity to address the Erodium bug. They can leave. I mean, I still want something to change with Grand Arena, but boy, would I be singing their praises if they just got rid of the Erodium bug, because it's not just the boredom of having possibly up to a half or 2/3 of a season be nothing. It's also the continuous addition of these Erodiums puts pressure on people outside of the couple top brackets. So these are people that would otherwise be climbing, that we would otherwise be able to get to see at the top, that are being just continuously pushed, squeezed out of those brackets. And so it just feels bad all the way around. Like, I don't get to do anything, and when I do get real matches, of course, it's against the same handful of excellent opponents, but there's really, it just feels like there's no opportunity for new blood, or rare opportunity, I would say. So that's the biggest thing sticking in my craw that needs a fix. As far as a proactive ad, nothing new from me here. Dagger said Old Republic. I'll focus on a subset. I want my Eternal Empire. It's literally a 5-man team. Father, mother, 3 kids. Go. Drop it in the game. Why? What are you guys even doing, man? Come on. It's easy money.
Valkorian.
You're literally talking about Valkorian as the leader. There's maybe 2028's Galactic Legend or something like that, but he could be Valkorian transforming into Vitiate, whatever, man. Like, Eternal Empire, make it. Sorry, you're
And
gonna
he
say
can lead
that?
up the GL Revan, so we finally get like an actual Revan.
Sure. Yes, I would be okay with GL Revan. I could live with that instead of, Valkorian. As long as you give me my 5-man Eternal Empire team and make them, they've done so great in the last couple of years with thematic execution of these factions, these characters. Like, they feel like playing them in the way that you see them on the shows or wherever they're from. So definitely open to seeing them do that.
On that note, there's a certain amount of amusement using Cal Kestis in TB for the one special mission. If you've played Jedi Survivor, there's a fair amount of enjoyment you get out of like the animations. Because hey, I did those. I did that. And I did that. And I did that. So like you said, they've done a pretty good job with the themes and the animations and stuff on characters. And if they gave us a way to challenge your friends to a GAC, I would just spend my entire rest of my time in this game just Aisha-ing TAS and not joining actual.
Very fair. Yeah, well, hopefully they grant my wish, and we'll see you soon. Hmm?
I would need more free time for that.
Mm-hmm.
I would.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Move to the Twin Cities,
Mm-hmm.
and you can. Well, I don't know if the girlfriend would let you. I know what you look like, babysit my kids. But you'd probably let your wife babysit my kids.
Maybe. Yeah, I look. To be fair, without the hat on, without you otherwise knowing me, you probably wouldn't trust a guy looking like me to just walk up and watch your kids. So fair. It's fair. I take the criticism. I do. All right, guys, what a long and fun road it's been getting here. We are back around to takeaways and final thoughts. So first of all, thank you for the very robust discussion today. A lot of thoughts, whirling going here. So more than I had expected. So appreciate you all for that. Dagger, let's have it kick off from you. What are you thinking now in summary as we're getting ready for the 5 vs 5 season? I know you got all your re-rolling yet to do, but what else is top of mind as you're getting ready for that lock-in coming into week 1?
There's going to be a whole lot of skill issues that are going to be passed off as bad RNG.
In what
And I'm
particular
not just talking
sense?
About me.
In what particular sense?
Yeah, huh?
In what particular sense?
Oh, everyone has maxed crons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I lost RNG. Bish, look at that cron. That's skill issue. You didn't click the button enough times.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, real men get within 1% of max, and yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the quote.
All jokes aside, I really hope that I have free time for this season, or enough free time to like do my scout and like plan out my attacks appropriately, because I do really think that this season is going to be a pretty skill expression heavy season, and I think that's going to be kind of cool because it's not very often that we have these. It's mostly just brute force or efficiency or one-shotting, and we have craftable advantages, which means if I just do more to if I make my datacrons better than you make yours, I'm not even talking about like percentage of max rolls, right? But if I just make my teams able to beat your teams, so I think that's going to be super interesting.
All right, appreciate that.
So I hopefully, man, I know I say this every single one, but hopefully I have enough time to play because the season actually looks more than the past one. Because like Fatal said, it does feel rock, paper, scissorsy. And yeah, this one looks fun.
Very good. Over to you then, TJ. Your takeaways, your final thoughts.
I kind of agree. Also, do like the idea of if everybody has the same thing, then no one has anything. We've all lived in that world, and now we're kind of really getting to live it. Especially, I'm going to call it the top 100. I expect everybody that we see, minus the Rhodiums, are going to be pretty heavy where it's at. And then it's going to be, what's the right setup? Did you take the wrong thing? And did that ultimately punish you? It'd be great to not be the world of I dropped once, then that's the end of the game. But we'll see how it looks like week one. Obviously, we'll be trying to play it through. And then I'll be interested to see what I think my biggest part, my takeaway is I'll be interested to see what the end of week one data looks like. I think we're going to have a pretty shocking experience as to what we think versus what it is. Even without the numbers, right? It ends up being like, oh, Ahsoka was just much better because now we have 5 characters like Bulk Tank. Oh, well, that died by the mothers because everybody's got perfect crons. Or that couldn't do that anymore. And mothers didn't work on Bulk Tank because it just looked like this. It's like, that's cool. I want to see what we look like after that. So I am cautiously excited to see what it looks like when we're all perfect as it is. And now it is really a skill expression.
Very good. All right. Over to you, Sasha. Your takeaways and final thoughts for the folks at home.
I'll keep it pretty short. I'm excited for the start of a new season. I know there's this cyclical nature of these where you go in the beginning of each season, there's less that's solved, less that's known. I enjoy that more. It's the exploration, it's the surprise, that learning, and I'm just excited for that. So, I don't have more depth because I don't tend to lean in a ton during the off week, but that's just a general sentiment I feel. So
What's wrong with that?
that's my takeaway, my final thought, and a happy New Year to everybody because we're not going to get a chance to talk to folks.
Well, you stole my thunder
calendar
a bit.
turns.
I was going to tell all of you that there when it came around to me, but that's fine, you bastard. Happy New Year to you.
Thanks, Tess.
Fatal, how about you? Your takeaways and final thoughts.
I think this season is going to make people angry. I think Support Cron is going to frustrate people. I think Chimera is going to frustrate people. I think this season is also going to be extremely fun. If you are of the kit reading persuasion, if you are of the think it through costs and resources and consequences and pre-planning, I think there's a lot of shit to like here. Remember, Sportcron, perhaps a little bit bugged, perhaps a little bit better than it should be. And remember, kill the support.
Solid advice for anybody. Now, there's still some days left here during the off week. Are you going to be streaming at all? What will you be streaming? And where will that stream be?
Twitch.tv/PlaybookTV, YouTube.com/playbook. I should stream now that we're through the most of the holiday stuff. It'll probably be 2xKO, but I should probably also do some the crafting streams for the 5v5 season, since it's such a ripe space.
Dig that.
There's almost some stuff that I think should not enter the wild, but we'll see.
Okay. Have to stay tuned closely then. For my part, Sasha kind of waylaid me here, but I was going to say, guys, we're finishing out yet another year of the show. I mean, technically the show's birthday is in May, but here we are, another calendar year behind us. And really appreciate you guys, because it is always the case that I've got something to mull over after each one of these recordings. So I'm glad that I have this opportunity to gain from other high-level players, and that is why so many people love tuning into our show. So first, my sincere thanks to all of you guys here on the show to make this what it is. So wouldn't change a thing. I always do say that. As far as my takeaways, my final thoughts go, I feel like I have slightly too many Dark Side Attacker crowns, possibly 2 or 3. Those will be converted into support, I believe. And maybe one just gets super refined into something. I'll figure it out. Just a little bit more obsession over the Datacrons, because obviously my opponents will be, to some degree, the same. As far as that last Relic 10, I might hold on to it before lock, because I should have one available tomorrow. But I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'll mull it over. I'll let people know on Discord how that goes. And ideally, I noticed later on in the season, last season, we only had maybe 1 Erodium for the last 2 brackets. And here's hoping, right? So we'll all find out in the coming days. Usually you get a tranche of new Erodiums at the start of a season, if there are going to be any. So we'll find out. Anything else?
I will say, when it comes time for all the Erodiums to have disappeared, I do have a list of the old Erodium regulars, and what I'll do, just to make the transition easier on those of us that have had them for a long time, is each week I'll change my account name to one of the old Erodium ones, so everybody can at least feel like they're still getting to see the guys that were hanging out at the top with 3 million GP.
Yeah, you'll help us wean ourselves off of the sight of their name. Yeah. Well,
But I also want to ask Sasha, will you also be placing those under gear relic teams as well? Oh, no? Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Just wanted to check.
Well, truly, that's pretty much it for me. So, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Obviously, if you want to catch me and my streams live, that's going to be at twitch.tv/Tassenix. I also simulcast from my YouTube channel, Tassenix Gaming, where, if you've not been there before, check it out. We've got a ton of Slug-related stuff over there for you to see. Not the least of which being a rebroadcasting point for this very podcast, Plotting and Scheming, which is native to Spotify. But wherever you catch an episode, check the description. There is a link that you can use to plug us into your preferred podcast program and follow the show that way. Over there on YouTube, we've also got stuff like all my Grand Arena VODs, the mod guide series on how to build up your mod collection, mod guides on characters and factions you've asked about, Datacron set guide videos, GAC Omicron tier list, whole bunch of stuff, really. Anything that you like over there on YouTube, please do hit the like button. Hit subscribe to see more. And if you're so inclined, also follow on Twitch. Those are all free and the best ways to support the growth of my channel. Of course, if you want to go above and beyond the Call of Duty, there are a few ways to do so. I have a Cash App that is $Tassenix. I have a PayPal that is tassenix@gmail.com. And if you're interested in getting some enhanced Grand Arena scouting power for yourself or access to some really cool utility tools, early access to the Plotting and Scheming show, and a couple other odds and ends perks, you may be interested in becoming a patron. Check out patreon.com/Tassenix. For any upwardly mobile Grand Arena player, there is something there of interest for you. At $5 a month, you enter the TAS House at VIP access level, where you get early access to the Plotting and Scheming show that is coming out to our general audience Friday mornings at 8 a.m., but patrons get it as early as Monday or Tuesday night, depending on when we sit down to record, giving you that early edge going into the first round of the week. I occasionally do make patron exclusive videos that'll be, with the patrons at least 1 month before it comes out to the general public. And of course, a dedicated text and voice chat on Discord where I am usually lurking, so pop on in and say hi. Thank you so much to Andrew, Banja, Boba Iza, Deadpool Cow 28, Paratran, JJ's Productions, Jobin4527, Miasmal, Mus Ross, Rays Malvis, Sam Vimes, Sheepdog 47, Shake 23501, Squed, Stark Strategy Gamer, and White Wolf. Moving on up to the $10 a month tier is VIP Access Plus, where you get a bundled Patreon access to me and to your choice of either OmegaBot or Hot Utils Patreon. OmegaBot's that tool that I highlight at the start of every one of my Grand Arena streams. It's the one with the graphs giving you an easily understood sense of your opponent's offensive and defensive tendencies. Anybody can use that tool for free to scout their opponent's last week of Grand Arena history, but only patrons can build out a custom report with any number of weeks. You get a downloadable version of that report with links that you can click, taking you right back into Swugga.gg or Insight with data pre-sorted, just helping you further drill in on those certain questions you're looking for and minimizing your scout. Alternatively, you might spring for the Hot Utils Patreon, aka Chili subscription, which is your #1 tool for mass mod management and loadout creation. Nothing else lets you switch so easily between your Grand Arena, TB, TW, and Raid mods. You can use it like TJ and Fatal do to comprehensively remod your roster using the powerful automation feature. I do have a How to Hot Utils video on YouTube teaching you how to get the most of that if you're already in the know. In addition, you can do cool stuff like slice through hundreds of mods in seconds, help out your guild in TW, a couple other odds and ends built into that, but regardless, no wrong way to go at VIP Access Plus. Thank you so much to Aussie Mike, Darth Solea, Calidus Invictus, Ash Sotnikam, JJ's Dad, Frick Frack Paddywhack, Gan Roth, Gates, Mr. Tony, Revenite, Single Malt Jedi, Snack Attack, Striker, Supermard, Troublefingers, and Zoltre. A VIP Access Premium, that's $15 a month for the Double Bot Bundle. So Patreon access for me, OmegaBot, and Hot Utils all under one subscription. Going out anywhere else to get those bots would cost you the same as this triple bundle, which is why so many of my patrons say it is one of the best values in all of Swugga. Thank you so much to Argots, Bjorn, Big Ninja, Depressed Wampa, Darth Link, General Milan, Wheatsea, Ibenek, Johnny B. Ottawa, Kev, Mini GK, Pills, Quig, Rawling, Saldag, Sir Boss, Sophis, Sprizzle, Lost Womprat, Wilco, and Bane. At the top of the list in Jester's Club Elite, the one, the only Nomad's Reaper, a man who really needs no introduction, but does occasionally pop in and just go crazy. Hundreds of subs, thousands of biddies, carrying hype trains. He's done it all before, and he'll probably do it again. Regardless, thank you so much for all the generous support over the years, Nomads. And of course, to Pills, who's also made a show of showing up recently, towards the end of my streams in particular, and will occasionally just start handing out subscriptions like candy. Really appreciate the incredibly generous support following in the noble footsteps of Nomad's Reaper. So appreciate both of you guys a ton. Thank you. Special thanks goes out first to the Lost Womprat, one of my patrons who's consistently gone above the call of duty, helping me out with things in the background like optimizing my OBS, getting the stream deck up and running, fixing little bugs here and there. Just makes life that much easier for me behind the scenes. Thank you so much for that support, Womp. To Mrs. T, my wife, thank you for all you do in the background, whether that's bringing me something to eat or drink on stream, or just keeping our daughter from, running up with her iPad, playing copyrighted material that would get me DMCA'd on a recording. I really appreciate you running that interference, so I don't have to actually learn how to edit videos, so thank you so much. And of course, again, to my co-hosts here on Plotting and Scheming, Dagger, TJ, Sasha Aisha, and Fatal. Gentlemen, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Can't tell you how much I appreciate that you make yourselves available on a weekly basis to record our show, because I've learned something and I have thoughts stimulated from our conversation every time we meet. I hope the feeling is occasionally mutual for the rest of you, but regardless, it's not about us. It is about the community that tunes into our show. It is rare that a single day goes by that I don't get some type of comment on YouTube, a DM, on Discord, something, thanking us for a little tidbit that they picked up from our discussions. They were able to apply it, and it got them the win that they were going for. So we're making the difference that we thought to achieve when we started this, guys. Thank you for making the show what it is, and I wouldn't change a thing. All right, we have come full circle. We are at the end of the road, and yeah, days away from starting up this new 5 vs. 5 season. Thank you all so much for listening, and for another year of your viewership / listenership. It's really appreciated, and it is our pleasure to keep on keeping on here. Until next time, it's been real. It's been awesome. It's been real awesome. Have a very safe and happy new year, and we'll see you next time.